sweep might be on. The big sweep might be on. I do not believe that people have got an obligation to cover anything. People can cover what they want. But my question will be, what would the coverage be like if this was about iDubbbz? If it was revealed that iDubbbz and Anissa was into age playing shit like that, what would the coverage be? And I think the answer to that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? But nonetheless, I'm not making any firm claims. I don't know what's gonna happen, I can't predict the future. But to me, you can look at who decides to talk about this and who doesn't. That will tell you everything you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, the big sweep might be over. The big sweep might be on. Ladies and gentlemen, the big sweep might be on. The big sweep might be on. 'Cause I did, I'm some fucking snake from people who wait until I go on holiday to start cloaking all this fucking shit about me. I'm responding to some deranged attack that this fat loser made about me when I was on holiday and wasn't in a position to respond. I don't have a problem with people firing shots back, but I believe in a fair fight, not in pockets stinkily, getting your fucking shit talking out whilst I'm on fucking holiday, bro. I mean, the thing is that I never like to think that anything's about me, but yeah, it probably was planned. It probably was planned. It probably was planned. It probably was planned. It's just frustrating to witness such cowardice. And it's frustrating because none of these people will fucking talk to you on stream. Oreo, 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 Oreo. Ladies and gentlemen, the big sweep might be on. The big sweep might be on. Ladies and gentlemen, the big sweep might be on. Ladies and gentlemen, what more do you want me to say, dude? This is the problem with you fucking Nicholas the Oreo haters. What more can I say that I haven't already fucking said, dude? I said fucking everything. I said everything there is to say. The guy's a fucking coward loser. Then he's fat. Is that what you want? Oh, he's a fatty. He's a fatty. He's a fatty. He's a fatty. Ladies and gentlemen, the big sweep might be on. The big sweep might be on. Ladies and gentlemen, what more do you want me to say? This is a problem with you fucking Nicholas the Oreo haters. What more do you want me to say? What more do you want me to say? Ladies and gentlemen, the big sweep might be on.
Part of the reason why I'm in a suit all the time is because wearing a suit, basically like lingerie for old conservative ladies. Yeah, they love that shit. Gets them horny, 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 Gucci Mars generated this shit.
Got my motherfucking suit on, baby.
Cause I wanna make love with these old right ladies. A small ass head with a big ass suit and tie. Cause these grannies turn me on and makes me wanna cry. It all started with this lady, she was beating me. She said she left the country right around the late 80s. Cause of the commies, but I knew that bitch just told a lie. That granny fake, she from the south, I know granny is spy. Told her she should come over, suck my Turkish pickle. Wow. Don't you ever disrespect the hammer and the sickle now. Can you believe this fucking refugee? She should go back, just pack your things and leave. Can't stop thinking about them grannies, grannies. Pull up and pull down all them panties, panties. We could be making love in that wheelchair. I treat ya right, better than Obamacare. Can't stop thinking about them grannies, grannies. Pull up and pull down all them panties, panties. Run my hands straight through your gray hair. But the South Vietnamese, they stay there. Got my motherfucking suit on, baby. It's already far past your bedtime, ladies. You should be at home Googling, has some pike and meat pics. Check out my Turkish pickle if you haven't seen it. Cause I think if you're at that age as an old lady, you shouldn't be running around acting all crazy. All sorts of fucked up being like this, mentally ill. You should be at home, put on some hats and chill. These old ladies should be thinking their feet. To my Turkish pickle, yeah, I like to be seen. These old ladies should be flicking their feet. Give it a rating, ladies, but please don't be mean. These old ladies should be flicking their feet. To my Turkish pickle, yeah, I like to be seen. These old ladies should be flicking their feet. Give it a rating, ladies, but please don't be mean.
It's time to go full demon time. It is time to go full demon time. And it is time to go full demon time.
It's time to go full demon time. Yeah, I'ma expose every line. Not the only one committing crime.
It's a Gucci March Halloween special.
Plus she's rapping the whole timeline. I know I had bad habits. Road raging.
Oh, time to go full demon time. I think Angry Joe's going full lolcow time. What is up, witches? Oh, this one isn't one I'm gonna take a whole lot of pleasure in. Oh yeah, new look. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think. I'm on the fence about the stash. Usually when I get a fresh haircut, I get rid of the stash too. I kind of clean up the whole look. But I thought, maybe I'll go full mustache this time. Try the just a mustache look. What's up, Carlins? Thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the channel. So we're covering Angry Joe today, and casually farming some Power World in the background. This one's gonna be kind of painful for me because it's something I've harped on. I've complained about Angry Joe on my channel a few times. All right, let's get rid of the music. I've complained about Angry Joe on my channel a few times, and what I want to make very clear before I get into tonight's content, before we start learning the history of Angry Joe, the rise and fall, and how we got to where we are now, is that my complaining about Angry Joe isn't because I don't like Angry Joe. It's quite the opposite. Like, it comes from a place of love. That is one of the first gaming channels I ever watched on YouTube. Like, I developed my YouTube addiction probably through old school YouTubers from back in the day. And the main channels like in my rotation that I watched, and Angry Joe was like the last one left. The one that hasn't fallen yet. And then I slowly had to watch him fall, which is what we're going to learn about today. I mean, I was watching fucking back in the day, man. I'm watching fucking Boogie2988, getting my gaming stuff from him. Angry Joe. you know, those old school YouTubers and all those old school YouTubers, and it wasn't just gaming stuff, but all the old school YouTubers are like, they have all fallen. They're all gone. They're all fucking shells of their former self, if not completely gone from the platform. Like fucking Leafy is here. It just became just a drugged out, just fell off the fucking platform, and just, have you seen what that guy looks like now? He's just, my God. I mean, that one doesn't really surprise me, though. You could tell from the way he was talking that was the kind of guy he was. He is a better PSA for why you shouldn't do drugs than any school program could ever hope to be. Then there was iDubbbz. Ah, man, I loved iDubbbz is my introduction into commentary, like everybody else. And, well, he's a cuck now. Have you fucking seen iDubbbz now? My God. All right, I'll even admit it. I liked, well, it's not that bad to admit. I liked H3 back in the day. I loved his commentary videos, more commentary stuff. And then I fell off of that one. But you know what? H3 is a good example of how, like, there's a redemption arc for almost anybody. Like, you can come back from almost anything, really, if you want to. Because I loved H3's videos on YouTube. I loved his commentary stuff. And then I hated his podcast. Like, it was one of those podcasts that was that was Joe Rogan kind of podcast for me, where I cared less about the host of the podcast and I didn't like the podcast for what it was, but I would watch it when there was a guest on that I really wanted to watch. And then I'm not watching for the podcast itself. I'm watching for the guest. Because that's how I watch Joe Rogan. I can't fucking watch every episode of Joe Rogan. Are you kidding me? But, you know, when Neil deGrasse Tyson goes on there, well, fuck, I'm going to watch that episode. All right, it's interesting stuff. And it was the same thing, like, you know, H3 was the drama version of that, where it was less about celebrities, more about internet celebrities kind of deal. So I watched the H3 podcast with Dr. Disrespect. It's another one I'll admit I watched. I'll admit it. I watched Dr. Disrespect. I liked him back in the day. He was the inspiration for a lot of the, a lot of the graphics and the production value I've tried to put into my stream. Now, it's nothing like his. I didn't try to copy his, but it was more just watching him was like, oh shit, you can actually make live streams look good. You don't just have to put a camera in front of a video and play. You can do all this extra stuff. Like, you can make it feel like watching a TV show. You can make it feel like an actual show and not like, you know, just a guy who turned on a camera. So I was never gonna try to be on par with him and have that whole setup, but having a little background, having a little flair. It's where my transition comes from, the intro video. Like, the idea for all that came from Dr. Disrespect, but, you know, then he started inappropriately talking to children, so he kind of fell off, and Boogie2988 just went completely fucking insane. H3's podcast just became Joe Rogan Light. Then it became political. Now, like, I didn't watch any of Leftovers. Oh, before that was Frenemies, and that was fucking horrible. Yeah, it became like this fucking woke garbage where he was clearly pandering to an audience because, you know, cancel culture happened. And then finally, we're through the cancel culture arc. The pendulum's starting to swing back in the other direction. And I think people are sick of the woke shit. We're finally starting to see less of it. I mean, there's Gooner skins in Fortnite now. And that's a kid's game. So, you know, it's finally starting to swing back, and the H3 podcast has become more like a live version of his commentary reaction stuff for most episodes. I mean, there's still way too much politics in there for my taste. So I still don't watch all of the H3 stuff anymore. I'll watch, it depends on the topic. It still kind of depends on the topic of the podcast. But when he's talking about drama stuff, I'm all for it. When he starts talking about Hassan or iDubbbz for the 80 millionth time, when he starts talking about politics, when he starts talking about that stuff or just shit I don't care about, then I kind of tune out. So I'm still kind of checking in and out. but it's long form live stream podcast stuff where its videos are like, 10 minutes. So when you've got that much time to fill, you're going to probably talk about everything. Like, I get that. That makes sense. And then that brings us to AngryJoe. The last YouTuber I felt stayed true to himself for a while. And I've watched him fall. Like, I had the massive amount of respect. Okay, before I get to AngryJoe, am I the only one who remembers Philip DeFranco making the statement and for a long time acting like he wasn't ashamed of his past? He left his old videos up forever, all the way back to like his high school, college days where he was filming on a fucking black and white camera. Like, the webcam he had didn't even do color. Like, he had black and white videos. Am I the only one who remembers him saying he wasn't going to take those down? That he liked people seeing the journey of how he went from that into what he became as a news show, and he wasn't ashamed of his past. And then one day, I don't know, he got called out for one of the videos, or cancel culture came for him. The woke mob did their thing, and he fucking deleted or privated all of that shit and just tried to pretend like it didn't happen. And he was one of those old school YouTubers I used to watch. And you could see how he's changed over the years and how he's completely censored himself and just completely become politically biased. He's become more and more biased over the years. Like, I don't really care about the censoring yourself. I get it. You grow older. You find that old edgy shit that you used to do cringe in your old age. Everyone does it. Like, woke virus or woke mob or cancel culture aside, that's just the normal progression of human growth. Like, I look at stuff now that I'm a father of children and I'm an adult. I look at the shit I did when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I cringe at it. Like, I wouldn't do that shit now. Does that mean that the woke mob came for me? No. That means I got older. So no, I don't expect a Philip DeFranco show to still have fucking, babe of the day or whatever on it. He's married with kids. It'd be really weird and really cringe if the fucking 40-year-old man is still doing babe of the day in videos when he's got a wife and kid. Like, it's a completely different look. Even without cancel culture. Like, it's just cringe. So, like, I get why stuff like that isn't part of the show anymore. But the political fucking bias and just the fucking way he catastrophizes everything. Just look through his channel. At least 3 times a week. He posts videos every day. 3 of those videos a week is gonna have a title like, "This thing is worse than you think. It's worse than you thought. It's worse than everything's worse than you think on the Philip DeFranco show. Everything's worse than you thought. Everything's the end of the world. Everything." And then you watch it and it's like, oh no, that's actually, it's not as bad as I thought. Actually, it's exactly what I thought. Actually, it's not. Where's the part where you tell me it's worse than I thought? You're just reporting the same thing everyone else is reporting and not telling me why it's worse. I got tired of the clickbait bullshit. All right, now we're at AngryJoe. So I'm going to get that pulled up. AngryJoe has, Gamer from Mars has done what Gamer from Mars does and done a full, mini documentary on AngryJoe. And this is going to be kind of a trip down memory lane for me. And I want to see if Gamer from Mars comes to the same conclusion that I came to, why he says that he fell off. Because I'll admit, I took a break from AngryJoe for a while. This video is entitled AngryJoe, a Fallen YouTube Titan. Like, I fell off AngryJoe for a while. I stopped watching him because life got in the way. So maybe I missed out on some drama stuff. Maybe there's a reason he got canceled, or, maybe something happened that swayed viewers away. But I think that the show kind of went downhill when it became obvious that he was just chasing trends and views. And it feels like it stopped being genuine. And I think it was around the time he stopped doing content with that guy, Dell. Thank you for the sub, Corey. When he stopped doing content with Dell. Does anybody remember the bearded guy that was on his channel? His name was Dell. I forget his YouTube name. But that guy felt like a genuine, like he kind of represented the gamers that were watching Joe's channel. Like, he felt like just a normal gamer dude. He didn't feel like a YouTuber. He felt like one of, like the kind of person Joe would hang out with. And then he stopped having those people. Like, he stopped doing stuff with Dell. I don't know if they had a fight or falling out or what, but I don't think it was coincidence that he stops hanging out with Dell and he immediately replaces Dell with Alex. There's a lot about Alex I like, but Alex has for as much as they make fun of corporate commando and corporate blah, 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 Alex sounds like a corporate guy. He very much has a corporate mindset, but he's got a YouTuber's corporate mindset. So while he hates corporate gaming, the way they talk about YouTube, listen closely when Alex is talking about YouTube when they start talking about like the YouTube business and running the channel. It's very clear that the channel feels like it's being run by a business now, and Alex feels like the CEO of that business. And this comes out the most with the shift in content away from gaming reviews and more towards trending topics. Like, I'm fine with the game and news show, even though it does feel like Alex runs that show. Like, okay, that was his idea. You can tell he runs that show. Half the time that they do the gaming news show on the Angry Joe show, half the time that they do that now, Joe feels like he doesn't even know what the news is, and he's just sitting there and hearing about it from Alex for the first time with a lot of topics. Oh, I didn't know about this. Oh, I didn't know about that. Really? Is that something you as a YouTuber running a news show should be saying about the news you're supposed to be reporting on? Is that you're learning about it in front of us for the first time? How is this a news show? That's very much the Alex show. And it feels like he does more movie and media shit now than gaming, which I'd be fine with because there's a lot of overlap with those two things. If the same quality of content was there with his movie reviews and his other media reviews as it was for gaming, the problem is he absolutely sucks at reviewing movies. I don't agree with most of his reviews of movies and TV shows. He sucks at this. Stop it. You're not Red Letter Media. You're not a movie guy. Like, it's fine. You enjoy and you want to watch movies and you want to talk about them. The only times he's ever right is when he's talking about, like, video game movies. His obsession with fucking Superman and just, like, it... I don't like his fucking media reviews. I don't like them. I just don't like them. But that feels like a Alex influence thing. Like, Alex came on board and started giving him all these ideas for the show, and it feels like he's just kind of... feels like Alex is the one running things behind the scenes. And Joe feels like an employee of his own channel now instead of the owner. Even his angry reviews now, when he does an angry review on a video game, he only does, like, the most popular games now. He doesn't do, like, every game like he used to. He doesn't do... And even then, a lot of his angry reviews either feel forced or they're not as angry as they used to be. Some of them are... Like, he does a lot of good reviews now. Like, he just does the games that he likes. Doesn't feel like he does games... Unless it's a really bad game that makes him angry, like Concord. You know, like, the angry reviews are kind of scarce and only for the big-name titles. The rapid reviews are... That's a thing that he started with Dell. That was Dell's thing, and I don't like Alex's rapid-fire reviews as much as I like Dell's. I'll just be real. So... It just feels like the quality of the channel has become formulaic and corporatized. It feels like someone else is running that channel. So, how did we get here? And Joe seems to spend more of his time on Twitter arguing about politics. Like, I don't think he's as interested in games as he used to be. I don't think he's as big a gamer as he used to be. I think he's... Like, I get it, man. You got old. You got old, and that's fine. But it feels like you're kind of forcing this. It doesn't feel like the passion's there in his channel anymore. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't feel like the passion's there anymore. Like he's just going through the motions and he doesn't even want to do it anymore. So he's got this Alex guy to fucking, you know, kind of take over things for him. We're going to go into the gameplay now. And we're going to, I can't stay up too late tonight, so I'm already yammering too much with the setup. So we're just going to jump into it at this point. This is the gamer from Mars, AngryJoe, a fallen YouTube titan. So let's learn how we got here and see how much of this I agree with. See how much of this is new information for me. It's about 45 minutes long, so this will probably be the only segment we cover tonight. Let's fucking go.
This is the only you people care about!
When you think of the Angry Game Reviewer,
That summarizes his channel to a T. Like, that's all the shit I just said. This is the only thing you care about, that he's fucking waving money around. Yeah, that does kind of feel like what your channel's become, Joe. I feel like I've lived long enough to watch my YouTube hero become the villain. Jesus.
archetype of the early YouTube days, the angry video game nerd comes to mind first. But people...
That's another one I still watch, and it doesn't feel like he's kind of suffered the same thing Joe has, where it feels like someone, like a corporation's running his channel, and he's just making videos out of obligation now. Like, half of his videos is a fucking sponsored ad read now. It doesn't feel like the passion's there in most of angry video game nerd stuff anymore. Which, I get it. He also got older. You've got wife, kids, blah, blah, blah now. But just, Jesus. Sergio? I don't know who that is, man, but welcome aboard.
People often forget that there was another man in the genre, often getting just as many views as James. But instead of covering old video games, he focused on new ones.
Trust me, many feminists love sex.
Jose Antonio Vargas, aka AngryJoe, has been a prominent voice in the online video.
That is the kind of stuff today that he would call problematic. And you know what? I get it. I get the criticism. I get people like calling that out and being like, oh, see, he used to say this and now he says this. See, he's lost his edge. I wouldn't call that him not believing something or him grifting, because a lot of people are going to call him a grifter. I think it's just he got older. That's that kind of stuff that I'm like, well, when you become older and you look back at your old stuff, it's cringe. That's the kind of stuff that when you're an adult, you look back at what you did in your 20s and you go, oh, that's cringe. That's one of those moments. I don't think that he's... Oh, shit. Do I get any more power balls over here? I don't think that he's grifting now.
Video game community since practically its inception. But over the years, his reputation has altered drastically. He may have started as a passionate defender of the rights of the oppressed minority known as gamers, but these days many of his past...
Gamers, an oppressed minority. See, you guys don't have to change genders or pretend to be trans in order to become a minority. You know, you don't have to go, I want to be a minority too, and then change your gender in order to be included as a minority. Because let's face it, if you're a straight white person, you're not a minority. But you want to be included. So what do? Well, blackface would make you racist, so you can't do that. Oh, I know, I'll be trans. Because being gay doesn't make you a minority anymore. No one cares if you're gay anymore. So that doesn't get you the attention. You pretend to be trans. Well, you don't have to do that anymore, guys. You can just be a gamer now. That's an oppressed minority that needs rights. Hashtags gamer rights are human rights. I should start that hashtag.
Fans view him as a shell of his former self. But I've been wondering,
Hey, that's what I said at the beginning.
This an accurate representation? This is the story of the rise golden era.
I'm going to guess it is an accurate representation because you're making an entire video on it. Thank you. I feel vindicated. Go on.
And eventual decline of a YouTube legend. So let's begin the story at the very beginning. Joe Vargas was born on June...
Oh shit, you going back to the very, very beginning. We ain't gotta go all the way back to his birth, man. Can we just... Maybe the birth of his YouTube channel. We don't need, like, the birth of the person. Holy shit. Okay.
June 18th, 1984 in Austin, Texas. He had been a fan of gaming for...
Damn, 1984. Holy shit. That would make him... Yeah, he is 40 years old now. Holy shit. Damn, I feel old.
Pretty much his entire life, and was an early member of the online community that was forming around the hobby during the 2000s. As a fan of the burgeoning angry reviewer genre, Vargas was inspired to create the AngryJoe Show YouTube channel. The first upload came on October 4th, 2008, titled "That Pisses Me Off, Madden 2009 Hardcore Gamers," which...
That's probably the only series he still does to this day that I feel like he actually gives a fuck about. Like, those angry reviews feel genuine. And that's because he is a sports guy, so he still does yearly fucking angry reviews on Madden. And I don't know why. It feels like you say you don't have a whole lot of time to do angry reviews anymore, so you have to be selective over the games you do an angry review on, and you're picking Madden every year. Why? Why don't you just do one every couple years when they have a big update? Madden yearly? Every one of those fucking reviews becomes the same. It's you telling us they didn't make the game better, the graphics aren't that much better, all it is a roster change. Oh, but look at all the microtransactions that they added. Oh, look at all the assets they reused. It's the same thing every year. You complain about how it's just like last year's, except now there's more monetization. Yeah, that's their business model. Every year they sneak in a little bit more because sports gamers are fucking retarded and they'll accept whatever bullshit you throw at them. But they're not completely retarded. You can't throw them too much bullshit at once. You gotta, every year, just introduce it a little bit more and a little bit more. And over time, that's how it became the fucking gambling simulator it's become. And gambling as a whole has become so accepted in sports that the government's even looking the other way. Even though gambling's supposed to be illegal in most states, they look the other way for DraftKings, for sports betting, which is a thing that you used to only be able to do in a casino or with a bookie, and we recognized as gambling, but now suddenly it's fine, I guess. Yeah, they have sports slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, sports has normalized gambling. And I think that the sports video games have played a role in that. That EA slowly introducing, microtransaction and slot machine mechanics into their games little by little over the years, that they've normalized it to the point where sports fans expect it outside of gaming. They now want it, they now want to see it, which powder do I want to use? Oh, you've got medicine, so I'll use you. They now want to see it. They now expect it in how they interact with all sports outside of gaming. And once it becomes more normalized outside of gaming, then that gives EA, like, it's a feedback loop. And then that gives EA carte blanche to add more because they feel like, oh, well, the government says it's okay, so now we can do more. Yeah. And I've kind of ignored it, and I don't really care because I don't play sports games. And I'm like, you know what? I treat sports games the same way I do mobile games. Keep those fucking microtransactions and that bullshit over there. And that's why I don't hate sports games, because as long as they exist, as long as these companies like EA have an outlet to shovel all their bullshit into to make their money, then maybe they'll keep it out of their other games. So having sports games become the card pack, slot machine, open and microtransaction filled bullshit adventure that they are, the fucking mobile game on console, having them become that kind of shields the rest of gaming from becoming that. So as much as you might hate all that shit in sports games, I think we kind of need it. So I don't hate it. But Joe's going to make a yearly video complaining about it.
Which was a brief comedy skit about Joe's overcompetitiveness.
Madness! This is madness!
I will say the skits are the only thing he still kind of does right. Some of them feel lazy, don't get me wrong. Some of the newer ones feel lazy. But when he wants to, when he tries, when he puts that work in, he can still make a good one. He can still do a good one. He can still do good skits. So, good on him. Like, I don't hate that part of it. He still does. There's still some good skits there he does. You can tell when he actually cares. And there's some games I think he only reviews because he came up with a good skit to do first, and then he's like, oh, I could make a good skit about this game, and then that makes him review it. And you know what? That's fine, because he's done some angry reviews on some weird shit, man.
This is melee.
This is what a majority of his older
Who the fuck was that guy? I remember him. I noticed his face, but my God, did I forget he existed. Joe ain't done content with this dude in so long. Please, Gamer from Mars, tell me you're going to go over why this guy has disappeared and who he is.
content looked like, as it took him a while to nail down a solid structure. He cranked out uploads at a rapid pace, sometimes posting multiple times a day. The channel during this era was...
Should I start doing that? No, there's no way I'm going to start posting multiple times a day. Hell, I can barely keep up with one time a day. Never mind, that was a bad idea. Forget I said that.
To put it bluntly, bizarre. Even as he learned to craft a cohesive format for his uploads, the dialogue was still largely unscripted and just a stream of consciousness. This was also the case for the first video in his Angry Review series, posted on October 28th talking about the game of Far Cry 2. He was accompanied by his friend Chris, aka Tons of Fun, although he'd credit him here as Chris the PC Guy, who was Joe's most frequent co-host in the beginning. This video was also the debut of Joe's iconic leather jacket and black Superman shirts, which remains his
You know what? I will give him credit there. I'm not going to say I got the idea from Joe, but I mean, it's not that much of an idea, but yeah, you want a signature look. Kind of like a cartoon character. That's probably more where I got the idea from. Yeah, mine's the blue shirt, man. I always wear the blue shirt. You know, something as simple as just a regular shirt, but it being the thing you always wear. Just become the thing you're known for. Oh my God, why can none of these hit? Holy shit.
Signature look even to this day. It wasn't long before some slight lore began to develop. Joe's viewers were the Angry Joe Show army, and their mission was to defeat the predatory corporate business practices that had...
Yeah, man, I remember, like... Oh, shit, I didn't mean to kill it. I remember... Oh, man, back when the Angry Army felt like an actual, like force of nature, and like it was actually changing gaming, and it did good things. Where it felt like they were actually having an impact, where, you know, and it was a great community. PlanetSide 2, there were all these games where they just, like, all of them would meet there on these massive servers, and then you'd have, like, just huge amounts of fucking everybody being a fan of the same thing and showing up there and it being coordinated. Man, those are gaming experiences you couldn't get anywhere else that only come from having a community like that. And we don't get those anymore. And I know Angry Joe likes to blame the games for that. There are no games where you can do that. But no, there are. He just doesn't. I don't think he plays games much anymore. Not as much as he used to. I mean, he's always talking and reminiscing about those days where he did do the PlanetSide 2 type stuff. Like, he's always talking about those days. But I don't see him really playing games all that much anymore. Every time he talks about having to do an angry review, he talks about how he doesn't have time to, you know, how he's got to find time to play this game. And, shit, one too many times. Fuck. How he's got to find times to play the game so that he can actually do a review on it. I just feel like he doesn't. And it's not like it's time thing, because for a lot of people, like, you get older, you don't really have the time to do gaming like that anymore. I don't think that's it. Because gaming's your job. You don't have time to do your job. Like, I get why I don't play games as much as I used to anymore. I have a wife and kids and a career now. Yeah, shit's different for me than it was 10, 15 years ago. But for you, this is your job. Like, you should be the one adult who gets to keep doing these things. And he just acts like he doesn't have time to do them anymore, which makes me believe that he doesn't really have the motivation.
Infected the video game industry.
The angry gamers will have a voice. A massive angry gamer army is being formed.
It just feels like he's more interested in movies and TV now because that's something he can turn his brain off and enjoy, or he doesn't have to put a whole lot of effort into. Maybe it's laziness, or maybe it's just he's just lost interest in games, which is a bad look when you run a gaming channel. Just God, this is the era of Angry Joe I miss, man. This is the fucking era of Angry Joe I miss. Brain.
Sir, yes, sir! Have this army!
But sometimes their mission was just whatever Joe wanted it to be. For example, in the video, The Epic Fight, Joker Captures Angry Joe, the game reviewer is kidnapped by the Batman villain, who says he will only release him if enough members of the Angry Joe Show army go to the theater to watch The Dark Knight.
You own the DVD, just...
Yeah, that comes out. That's always come out when he talks about DC stuff. Like, he has this weird hard-on for DC. I remember this. He wanted this fucking thing. He made this, like, skit thing where he tries to, like... He thought he could get the angry army to go to the movie theater and fucking change history. And I don't mean that lightly. I'm not talking about, like, oh, he just wants to make a movie popular. He really thought that his YouTube audience was big enough that if he could convince them all to go watch this movie, that they could make the movie generate more sales than Titanic. That this movie could dethrone Titanic as the most, profitable movie in history. The fuck is that shit? It's like a Mario block. He thought that he could make that kind of difference. And you're just not. What is this? I'm looking at this giant block. I'm going to hit it with something. Ha! I knew it. Oh, shit. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Oh, nope. Get away. Oh, shit. Hold on. We'll go back to review here in a second. I don't think I'm going to get him weak enough to capture him, man. I'm above level 50 here. Holy shit. Okay, I got to quit moving now if I'm going to stay in the air. All right. I think I get him. I think I can get him. Okay, I can't hit him anymore. Oh, that's a pretty good chance. I think 25 is probably the best I'm going to get. Come on, baby. I got him! Ha! Sweet! All right, back to the review.
Watch the DVD at home. No, you will go to the movie theater and see it.
Vargas later said that this was because he wanted the film to dethrone Titanic.
Yeah, that was never going to fuck. James fucking Cameron can't make a movie that's going to dethrone Titanic. Like, what do you mean? Christopher Nolan can't make a movie that's going to dethrone Titanic. Like, these big directors with fan bases way bigger than yours couldn't do it. You really thought the Angry Army is going to do it? The fuck's wrong with you, Joe? Like, this was just pure fucking ego, man. Holy shit.
As the highest grossing movie of all time. Once the mission is accomplished, Joe defeats the Joker and celebrates by showing off his Force lightning powers. Like Star Wars.
Oh, shit. Balls.
No, I can't.
That's just him playing with movie editing. Plus, again, stuff that's cringe you did when you were younger. Fuck you. Damn it, I needed that bird. Fuck off. Oh my god. This thing's gonna fucking murder me. Alright, come on, buddy. Bring it, bitch. Bring it. I'm gonna fuck you up. Get in that ball. Yeah, I got him. Get in that ball.
Can't explain why the theme from Saw is playing in the background here. This is an early example of the consumer archetype, basically where nerds treat media franchises as sports teams, where they root for their favorite IP to win by getting a higher box office gross for a multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate. Strange as they were, these videos gave Joe a modest audience that grew fairly rapidly, as he reached 2,000 subscribers by January of 2009. This growth caught the attention of Mike Mashad and Doug Walker, the owners of ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com, and its parent company, Channel Awesome, who began talking with Joe about making content for their site. He agreed and soon became one of the most prominent voices talking about video games in the collective of media reviewers. To be more specific, Joe's primary domain was Blistered Thumbs, which started life as simply another page on the website with the purpose of video game discussions in a text-based format. Blistered Thumbs proved to be very popular with the gamers in Channel Awesome's audience, and talks soon began to spin it off into its very own website. Joe spearheaded the campaign as editor-in-chief, and
what the fuck ever happened to this website? I remember. I mean, it definitely shows its age here, but that means it's probably been shut down. I don't know why so many of these YouTubers like tried to do their own websites. I mean, that was a thing for a while. Like every YouTuber had to have a website, but no one's going to go to your personal fucking website. Like, you're popular on these platforms because people want to watch you on a platform where they can find you, you know? So they want all their creators in the same place. They don't want to have to go to a different website every time they want to watch a different creator. Like, the whole website thing was just never going to work for all of these fucking creators. Not just AngryJoe, but they all did it. I think Philip DeFranco had a website. Like, all of them had their own website at some point. Thankfully, now it's just YouTube and, like, Patreon and shit. Okay. Well, there. I get another bird so I can travel again.
And recruited a journalist from the site Koku Gamer named Micah Curtis to be his right-hand man.
Never heard of that site.
BlisteredThumbs.com officially launched in November of 2010, and quickly became one of the internet's most prominent sources for video game news and reviews. Judging from the stated mission of the AngryJoe army...
Well, I'm guessing it died, because I barely even remember this site, and it's supposed to be one of the most prominent, and now it's just, like, you never hear of it again. It's got to be shut down. It's got to be dead already.
It should be obvious that Vargas viewed himself as a champion for gamers and video games as an art form. You have to realize that the late 2000s and early 2010s was a time when corporate influence infecting the hobby was a big point of conversation, and AngryJoe was at the forefront. One of the primary targets for his ire was the Spike TV Video Game Awards show. While it was
oh yeah, his feud with Jeff Keighley where he got absolutely fucking destroyed. He tries to act like they're friends now, but man, he hated Jeff Keighley for a while. And it's still kind of, you can still kind of hear it in his voice. He's still fucking sour about this. Because he finally, like Jeff Keighley didn't have to do what he did either. Like, there's no reason to engage with a YouTuber. Like, this dude was, like, rubbing elbows with celebrities and stuff. Like, he was a mainstream guy. You could tell that Joe just got under his skin, and he was like, you know what, fuck this guy. And he brought him on and had, like, an interview with him at the Video Game Awards where he just completely fucking destroys him. I remember Joe made a whole Cope video about this. Like, he just completely fucking destroyed fucking AngryJoe. And that's because he didn't really have to do anything to destroy him. It's just that AngryJoe was wrong. He was using outdated information. It was clear that he was just been gassed up by his community. And then he got there and got a slap in the face of reality. Because as much as you guys might dislike the Game Awards and you're going to call them corporate, blah, blah, blah. Like, the Game Awards wouldn't exist without sponsors. Like, that was always going to be an inevitability. They have to have sponsors. And sometimes they do it a little blatantly, sure. But the Game Awards themselves does kind of feel like Jeff Keighley's baby. And he does reel it in. Like, he does keep it from being like just most popular game always wins. A lot of those categories do feel fair. Now, a lot of it you could probably blame on the journalists that he uses, because it uses, like, it's kind of like the Academy Awards where they use, like, a panel to determine shit, to determine, like, what wins. And the difference between the Game Awards and, like, the Academy Awards where, like, a panel of people choose stuff is the Game Awards always has that, do I have a water one? Yeah. Is the Game Awards always has that, those segments that are viewer voted. So they feel fair for the most part. Sometimes it does feel like shit's bought and paid for. But that's why you have that whole section for, you know, this is what the gamers themselves voted on. As long as that section is always there, then it doesn't really, like, you can watch the Game Awards and go, well, that's the only section I care about because the rest of it's going to feel corporatized. And that's fine. Let them have their corporatized version and that they make their money off of, and then just don't take those rewards seriously. and you know a game's good when it ends up winning both, when the critics and the fans agree, then that means it's a good game. Then that means that that's the one, like, oh, must buy. Like Expedition 33, for example. Like, that's a must buy. Critics and gamers alike agreed. And that game came out of nowhere and just destroyed AAA games that year. Like, it beat out Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, like all of them. Like, all the exclusives, all the first parties, all of the games that would have been bought and paid for. And it still won. So, like, you owe it to yourself to play Expedition 33.
Was advertised as essentially the Oscars for gaming, Joe and many others thought it was overly commercialized.
Academy Awards, Oscars, same thing.
And out of touch with what gamers wanted. And with his rise in popularity due to Channel Awesome and Blistered Thumbs, he was finally able to do something about it. Due to this increased influence, Joe was invited to the 2010 VGA show as a journalist. His hope was to get a one-on-one interview with someone involved in the behind-the-scenes decision-making, and his wish was granted when the host and executive producer, Jeff Keighley, agreed to talk with him. Unfortunately, this did not end up going.
Yeah, this interview was brutal, dude. He made Joe look like a complete unprepared idiot. And that's because he was completely unprepared. He thought he was in the right. His ego got the better of him. He got there to do this interview, and he was just like, oh, my fans are right. This is one of those things everyone knows. Everyone knows that these reviews are bought and paid for. Everyone knows that they don't care about PC gaming. And like all this shit that he thought, oh, everyone knows this stuff. I'm going to call him on it. And then he calls him on it, and Jeff's like, we don't have that category anymore. Well, why don't you do PC games? What PC games have come out this year? PC exclusive games that weren't already on console. Oh, MMOs? What MMO came out this year? And Joe just had no answers for him. Like, turns out Jeff had a pretty good reason for doing the stuff that he did. There's a pretty good reason why he doesn't have a PC section because, well, there aren't many PC exclusive games every year. There aren't that many MMOs that release every year. Like, there's just not enough to do a category for some of this stuff. Like, it just feels kind of redundant. Turns out there was a reason for a lot of the decisions he made. And when he explains it to Joe, Joe goes, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and then he just completely shuts him down, like, on the show floor in front of everybody. Yeah, Joe got humbled and embarrassed. And you know what? Kind of deserved, dude. It's kind of deserved.
Going smoothly, as shortly after the event, Joe posted a video of the interview.
I don't know where he is, and then out of nowhere, I literally see him sprinting towards me, and he's like, Joe, come on, you got 2 minutes, go, Joe, you got...
How did you, like, that? This is the part I don't get about this. Like, I remember it at the time. He's like, he sprints towards me. Yeah, he's squeezing you in. He's a busy guy. That fucking show that they're running is probably on a tight schedule where they've got, we got to do this and we got to do this and we got to do this. It's a planned segment. Anyone who's ever ran any kind of production like that knows that it gets hectic. Like, you've got all this stuff you're trying to squeeze in, and if one thing gets behind, everything gets behind, and your time slot is only so long, so you go. And he's finding time to squeeze you in, and he's like, hey, we got 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes. We can do this real quick, and then I got to go do this thing, and then I got to go do this thing, and then I got to go do this thing. Yeah, like, there's somebody, he probably didn't have the time to give you, oh, fuck you, I fell all the way down. He probably didn't have the time to give you a 15-minute sit-down, relaxed interview. Like, that was never going to happen. If you're going to go to the awards and get squeezed in for an interview, then you got to be ready to do this rapid-fire shit. Everything about this is rapid-fire. They've got, like, watch any of those shows and watch the behind-the-scenes stuff when, watch the behind-the-scenes stuff when they go to commercial, like what they're doing while the show is at commercial. And especially like Saturday Night Live or any of those live shows like that, when they go to commercial, like, they've got so much shit they've got to do before they get back to commercial to set up for the next thing that they don't have time to do shit. The fact that he squeezed you in at all, you should be thanking him for, not fucking like, oh, this was a bad setup for an interview. It was an interview that you probably never should have gotten in the first place. And he went out of his way to give you this interview. Like, you should be, like, singing his praises for it. I don't want to sound like you should be sucking his dick, but yeah, you should be giving him props on the back for it and telling your audience, like, hey, he didn't have to do this, and I respect him for it. But, like, that's the professional statement that you should be making, because it's the honest one. And instead, he just whined and coped and seethed about it. His ego was like, yeah, he got knocked down a peg or two. And you know what? Deserved. I'll say it. It was fucking deserved. Even back then, I was like, this was cringe to watch. Where was that fucking one I was looking at before I fell? I'm about to fall again. Just want to have a look around.
Got 2 minutes, go, go. That is not how you start an interview. That very first thing, he has me on my back foot right there. You have 2 minutes.
You could have said no to the interview. You could have said, hey, if you don't have time for this, can we reschedule? Like, you didn't have to do the interview right then and there. You could have, god damn, dude. You could have asked to reschedule. You could have said, hey, this isn't really the way I want to do this interview. I want to be able to sit down and talk to you. Can we schedule this for another thing? Like, you could have put him on blast in front of everybody and been like, this was a bad time to try to do this. Let's just do a more of a casual conversation for 2 minutes, and I'll ask you 1 or 2 questions, but can we do a real interview later? And then just give him the softball shit. You know, do something to like give him easy questions he can answer to put him in a good mood and to make him not hate you. He did this shit to you out of spite, and you're doing nothing but validating the reason why you deserved it.
2 minutes, go, go. I realize I'm not going to get
God
all
damn
of
it.
my questions answered, but I'm hoping to at least have 5 minutes, 10
Dude,
minutes. Ideally,
off.
I would want a sit-down
Why? Why are they attacking me randomly? Fuck off! Jesus.
interview that I originally requested 15 minutes. But no, 2 minutes, Joe, go, go, 2 minutes.
The upload includes both Joe's full interview with Keeley on the VGA red carpets, as well as his post-mortem of the situation. Viewers were baffled that Vargas decided to post this footage at all, since it made him look incredibly unprepared. Jeff was able to...
He was incredibly unprepared. He went in there pure ego. He didn't come with prepared questions. He had a few that his audience wanted him to ask that he thought he was right about. He didn't do any research. He just went in there with all the criticisms. They weren't even questions. They were just criticisms. And they weren't very well, they weren't researched at all, criticisms. He went in there with the criticisms that he got gassed up by the comment section in his own fucking videos. And he just went in there basically reading the comments from his comment section to Jeff Keeley. And Jeff Keeley going... Yeah, your comment section's wrong, dude. This is why. And it completely destroyed him. It was the ego check that he needed. And I don't think he ever got over it. Like, even when he talks about Jeff Keeley now as an adult and he reflects back on it, he'll have nice things to say, but you can still kind of see it in his face. You can still kind of hear it in his voice. He sometimes still brings this up offhandedly from time to time, being like, yeah, don't like, he's still sour about this, man.
To easily counter every point Joe threw his way, leaving the YouTuber flustered. As he played the recording of the interview, Joe would occasionally cut it with green screen footage to vent his frustration. This
was true low cow behavior, dude. Like I remember seeing this at the time being like, you put that in your own video? It was cringe, man. Just take the L. Just take the L.
With particular categories like best independent game fueled by Mountain Dew, well, it kind of takes away. Yeah,
we don't have that category this year.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they kept the category. I don't care if the category has the sponsored name in it. Best independent, blah, blah, fueled by Mountain Dew. Yeah, it's going to say fueled by Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew paid for that segment. Like, without the sponsor, they probably couldn't have afforded to do that segment. This is how it works. The sponsors pay them to insert that. And if all they do is say, brought to you by blah, 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 or try to do it in a cheeky way, what would you have liked it better, Joe, if it said brought to you by Mountain Dew instead of fueled by Mountain Dew? Did you take the fuel part literally? Like, do you not know how sponsors work? Because it seems like you don't like sponsors. Like, I don't think he uses them on his channel very often, but just, I'm sorry, dude, that's not how the world works. Like, you need sponsors. You just do. You need sponsors. It's a thing you need.
So you took away the best independent game fueled by Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. We have best independent game, which is being presented by Guillermo del Toro tonight.
And he's so mad about it too. Like, even though this is a thing he should be applauding, like everyone behind him, and being like, "Hey, that's a victory. We won." He took the criticism and we got what we wanted. Instead, he's like, "Perfect, great. They shot down that criticism, and now I don't get to have it. Great, perfect, awesome." Motherfucker! Like, that's what's going through his fucking head. Like, that's the energy here.
Love it. Moving along. Basically, what?
Let's quickly move past the W we should give him, the victory that we should be celebrating as gamers, because we won one. Oh, that's one that we won. We made a criticism and they gave us what we wanted from it. They took that criticism to heart and made changes. That's something that you should take a minute to applaud. But all right, I'm gonna be a little easy on AngryJoe here, because going back, remember, he did only have 2 minutes. So great, you got the answer to that question. Move on. All right, I guess that's what he kind of had to do. Never mind. I changed my own criticism. See, there you go.
This is a worse environment to conduct an interview in. Essentially.
Yeah, this was cringe as fuck even for the time, man.
In fairness, even though the YouTuber was incredibly critical of how Keeley had behaved, he was equally critical of his own handling of the situation. As previously stated, he viewed himself as a champion for gamers everywhere, and by failing to hold the video game awards to a higher standard, he felt as though he had let them down. This video has gone down in infamy as one of the most embarrassing moments in AngryJoe's career, to the point that it's practically impossible to discuss him online without it being addressed. He did somewhat get the last laugh in the end though, as a couple of years later, Jeff Keighley was interviewed while sitting right next to a bag of Doritos and several bottles of Mountain Dew, all while a giant standee for Halo 4 loomed large behind him. This was the epitome.
Yeah, I say that he kind of got the last laugh in the end, because in reality, that's like, I mean, that's just how sponsorships work. They paid for that segment. Doing that, including all that stuff in the background while he does a little promo for Halo, probably made enough money for him to fund that year's Game Awards. Like, yeah, sometimes that's just shit you gotta do. And I think most people understand that, so you watch it and you don't go cringe, you just go, oh, it's a sponsored thing. And then you take it with a grain of salt. I think most people know how sponsors work, and it's not that big a deal.
Of the over-commercialization of the video game industry that gamers had been complaining about, and earned Keeley the nickname Dorito Pope. Of course, Joe seized the opportunity to parody it in his own video.
Hello.
Yeah, but he shut you down? Specifically on the point of sponsorships when you had an interview with him. This is a case of right message, wrong messenger. You just, like, this was a funny skit, but you ain't that guy, Chief. You ain't that guy.
I'm AngryJoe, and this is my review of Halo 4.
Yeah, this was just sore loser behavior. Like, I'm sorry, you ain't that guy, man. You ain't that guy. He still shut you down. Like, you called his criticism on sponsorships, and he flat out told you that they got rid of a sponsor that year, that they reacted to the, like, you won that, and he shut you down. He shut down all your criticisms, and now you're gonna still, like, do this. Still kind of cringe. I'm sorry, you ain't that dude.
Game, and I got plenty of bonus XP.
But even though people didn't necessarily love Mr. Keeley, the disastrous VGA interview still did some damage to AngryJoe's reputation. It didn't help that 2010 was also the same year in which Joe made a video at E3 with another Blistered Thumbs contributor named Spoonie, who shouted and made a scene in the middle of the show floor.
Betrayal! What? Betrayal! Betrayed me! This game sucks!
It has been claimed that this incident caused all Channel Awesome contributors to be temporarily banned from E3, although there is no evidence to support that. Regardless, these instances set...
Wow. All right, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I get it. He was cringe and making a scene, but to ban everybody, like, to be so cringe, you get your entire organization banned, even the ones that weren't there for it? Yeah, that's kind of shitty, though. To ban, like, everybody because this dude's cringe. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Blistered Thumbs on the back foot in terms...
If that is what happened. Like, again, there's no proof behind any of it. But I'm saying, if that is what happened, if they banned everyone on the channel because one guy came and represented, like, made the channel look bad, I don't agree with that. Just like I don't agree with people losing their jobs because they made a tweet and, well, you're representing the company. Was he tweeting from the company account? Was he off the clock? Then he wasn't representing the company. He's just someone who made a tweet and then also happens to work there. I don't agree with people losing their jobs over tweets. I don't agree with an entire organization being punished because one dude. I mean, I guess this is a little bit different. He was on the clock for it, I guess. He was technically representing that company. But still, though, that's still, I don't know, it still feels shitty.
In terms of their journalistic integrity, and the public embarrassments echoed an uneasiness that was bubbling behind the scenes. One of the earliest issues that arose came from the website's comment moderation, where users' posts were often taken down without warning and some were outright banned due to the poor communication of what the rules were. While this was a site-wide problem, one of the biggest exacerbators was Micah Curtis, who was self-admittedly in an unhealthy headspace during this time.
I was a miserable bastard, and I couldn't let go of my divorce, I couldn't get past my flaws, I couldn't get past anything. I was a prick. Quite frankly, though, I hated the audience. I fucking hated the Blistered Thumbs audience at the start. But the thing is that I hated the audience and I hated gamers because I hated myself.
It was because of this that Joe and the Channel Awesome higher-ups decided to strip Curtis of his editor position, sending him off to work on himself.
Yeah, but how long after this before the site actually went down? Because I don't think it's still a thing.
A few months later, he returned with a more positive outlook, managing to reclaim his old title. What followed in 2011 was Blistered Thumb's strongest year, as the site was consistently pleasing its readership with well-written reviews and articles. Despite the rocky beginning, perhaps Joe and his team could still turn Blistered Thumbs into the titan of gaming journalism that he desperately wanted it to be. However, there were still a lot of problems with the management that fans were not privy to, which had potential to bring...
Yeah, again, Joe, you're not that guy. Like, I get you probably want to start a media company or whatever, but you're not that guy. Like, you're not the guy to head a media company. Like, you just... You don't have that kind of leadership. Like, that's not one of your skills. That's not in your skill set. Damn it.
Everything down. For starters, a common thread shared amongst many former contributors was that Joe was not the strongest leader, and it certainly didn't help that
exactly, everybody knows it.
He was receiving very little support from the people above him. Editorial oversight was allegedly lax, and he was running himself ragged, maintaining Blistered Thumbs while still producing his own videos. But the bigger issue was the lack of a strong revenue stream. You see, Channel Awesome did not provide much in the way of funding, and so the only way the site could be monetized was through Google AdSense.
Wait, so Channel Awesome starts the site but then doesn't fund it? I didn't know that. That's weird. Do they not have any faith in their own product? Or did... Yeah, like, why wouldn't you fund this thing that you... I don't think they actually cared about it. Like, this feels like a thing that they did as a collaboration and someone talked him into it and they're just like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, like, that's kind of what it feels like now. Okay, more stuff starting to make sense.
Since Blistered Thumbs was text-based, advertising revenue was a fraction of what could be earned from video-focused enterprises like That Guy with the Glasses. As a result, writers went unpaid, instead being compensated with free review copies of video games. The other problems with Blistered Thumbs revolved around infighting between staff members. I need to point out that since this took place in private chat rooms over a decade ago, with none of the actual interactions being archived, this story will have to be pieced together through second-hand recollections. It's important to note that some people, including AngryJoe himself, have never spoken publicly about what exactly went down.
God, I would have loved to read those logs, though. But yeah, a text-based website is going to struggle to make monetization without some kind of funding from somewhere else. Usually they get their funding from something else. Like, even the big ones now, like, IGN's not making money off its fucking website. It's making money off all the other shit it does. And the website's just kind of a legacy thing. How many people actually go to IGN.com versus watch their videos on YouTube and just get their fucking information and their reviews from tweets and stuff? Like, there's social media is the main driving force behind all these companies now. Like, that's why you see stuff like Wall Street Journal and like newspapers that like their actual like articles, like you go to their websites. You ever used one of those websites without ad blocker on? Holy shit, it's unusable. It's flat out fucking unusable. just so much shit is thrown at you. Like, they make their money off apps and off the YouTube videos and other shit now. I don't know what Channel Awesome was thinking. I don't think they gave a fuck about this website.
Allegedly, the conflict stemmed from a disagreement between two writers, Micah Curtis and Eli Simet, who was also a former journalist from Koku Gamer. While the two were initially good friends, as time went on, irreconcilable differences began to form in their worldviews. To put it simply, Eli held
irreconcilable differences? Either they didn't agree on politics or somebody fucked somebody's wife. That's usually what that means.
Strong progressive values, what some at the time might have referred to as SJW, while Micah was strongly against that. This all happened in 2012, a couple of years before the beginning of the Gamergate movement that tore the internet in half. Gamergate was about ethics in gaming journalism, or was a harassment campaign against women in gaming, depending on who you talk to. The opposing views of these two men were the perfect microcosm of the battlefield that was beginning to form. According to another blistered thumb writer named Robert Grosso, the two often butted heads both over politics and how to run the websites. With the
and once again, politics, politically, like people who become politically brain rotted are insufferable. And it will destroy friendships. This is why the country's obsession with fucking politics and everybody being so politically inclined just forces everyone into bubbles, because you can't interact with people on the other side. Eventually, you guys will fight to the point that you don't even want to have contact with each other anymore. And friendships are destroyed. Families are broken apart. Like, this is why politics should be considered a personal topic and something you keep close to the chest. You talk about with people you know can handle those kind of conversations, or in the appropriate setting where people have the mindset. The problem with politics now is people just bring it up all the time, and people get blindsided with political conversations when they didn't want to talk about politics. And when you're not in the mood to talk about something, or you haven't gone into that conversation with that mindset that you're going to talk about politics, then you can just be completely fucking destroyed by it. And that's what happens. But when you go into that mindset when you go into that conversation with that mindset, time and place. So like you go to a town hall meeting and you go there to talk about politics. Everyone who walks in that room understands they're going to be talking about politics, and they're prepared for the conversation. So they're not going to be taking it like a personal attack. They're not going to be judging people as harshly for it. Like, they all go in with that same, with that same mentality that this is what we're going to do. Versus, oh damn, I went all the way back there to get a new bird and I forgot to get my bird. Versus just blindsiding somebody with the conversation.
Joe caught in the middle. I had an inkling of issues between Eli, Micah, and Joe because of the writers' chat room, where they talked a lot. Sometimes it was healthy debates, sometimes it was not, to put it lightly. Micah was always a strong personality like Eli, and both had different ideas regarding how to showcase content. Reportedly, the animosity drove Eli to try and convince Joe to fire Micah on multiple occasions to no avail. This only further served to irritate Eli, leading to him going over Vargas's head and contacting a Channel Awesome administrator by the name of Holly Brown to see if she could do something about it. Coincidentally, this was during a time when Micah was engaged in a separate beef with Joe's then-girlfriend Amanda, who was also a content creator, when he posted a negative tweet that she...
Oh yeah, I completely fucking forgot about her. Wonder if he's gonna go over why they broke up or what happened to that.
Reportedly thought was about her.
Also, Joe is a different creator when he has a girlfriend than when he's not. Like, it's noticeable.
Her.
Around this time, I had managed to anger the woman he called his girlfriend, but I prefer these days to call her his former pet horse, Amanda. You look at her face, you'll see why I say that. She threw a
What? Hold on.
His former pet horse, Amanda. You look at her
she's not horse-faced. I mean, she just looks like a normal white girl to me. Hey, you're being a bit harsh here, bud. Jesus Christ, this feels like jealousy. You feel like someone who's a bit jealous. I can't remember what kind of content she used to create. Wonder if they're going to say why that relationship failed.
Face, you'll see why I say that. She threw a fit over something that she thought I had directed at her on Twitter. when really I was complaining about something that Yahtzee Croshaw had said on Zero Punctuation. So, sorry, Amanda, you were never that special.
I do miss Zero Punctuation. Yeah, those are more creators that I used to watch that have, like, fallen to the wayside. I don't know. Yahtzee's still around with Fully Ramblomatic, but it doesn't get as many views and it doesn't show up in my timeline near as much as Zero Punctuation did. Like, I never miss a Zero Punctuation. Maybe it's because I watched multiple shows that were on the Escapist channel, not just Yahtzee. And Fully Ramblomatic's just it's one thing, and it's the only thing from that channel I watch. YouTube just doesn't show it to me as often. I don't know. I can't figure out why it's not in my algorithm as much, but he definitely took a hit by not being on the Escapist. But I'll give it to him. He's still doing his thing. I'll still watch his videos. Jim Sterling, on the other hand, well, I got a segment on him that we did on a previous live stream that's going to become a YouTube video here pretty soon. Jim's a special case, man.
Special. From there, though, she then vocally quit the site over it. Her little tantrum was noticed by Holly, who, at the behest of Eli, used this as leverage with the Walkers and Mashad to try to show that Joe and...
The Walkers? Where's Rick? Should have sent Rick to handle the Walkers. You don't have what it takes, bud. Carl!
and I could not do our jobs properly, and that Blistered Thumbs was one giant mess.
While Micah frames the Amanda incident as the primary factor that got him and Joe removed from Blistered Thumbs, others have said that it was for entirely different reasons. Austin Yorsky, the man who took over for Vargas as
But what are those other reasons?
the new editor-in-chief, spoke about it in an interview years later. Joe's departure from Blistered Thumbs was entirely unrelated and, in fact, quite complicated. I wasn't privy to 100% of the relevant conversations, but I was involved in a number of them, and have spoken at exhausting length with those who were present for events at which I was not. Channel Awesome was frustrated with Joe for multiple reasons, including Blistered Thumbs' poorly built website and his...
I mean, Joe does feel like kind of a lolcow, just personality-wise. Like, he's got the gene. He has to respond. Like, look at his Twitter, dude. He has to respond to everyone. Like, especially when it's on a topic that he thinks he's right about. Like, he has to, like, to the point where he's easy to troll. Like, people will just, like, bait him. He's so easy to rage bait. He's got the gene. And just imagine dealing with somebody like that in real life where you can't just hit a button to block them or, like, go make them go away, where they're just in your face with these arguments constantly. And I can see why that might be tiresome, grating, hard to deal with.
inability to instantly replicate the success of that guy with the glass.
If you want to know what that looks like in real life, it's the actually kind of person where you're like, oh my god, shut up. Technically, and you're right. Oh man, those people are insufferable. Yeah, Joe strikes me as maybe the insufferable kind. Not as bad as those people. Like, there's probably some... How does this work? That, like there's probably some... Oh, I know what I gotta do. Okay. Got it. There's probably, like... He seems like he's got a better personality than those people. He's a little more socially adjusted. But then certain topics will come up or it'll come out, and he seems like the kind of guy who just wouldn't let it go, who wouldn't drop it, and he would just drag it on and on to the point that he becomes insufferable. I think that's probably how Joe works in real life. Could be wrong, but that's the vibe I get.
Glasses. A personal incident which is beyond the scope of this conversation made it difficult for...
You know, like the kind of guy who would argue with you over what the definition of anime is, and then 3 days later after the conversation's over, just bring it up again and never let it go. You know, that kind of person.
For Channel Awesome to justify allowing the argument to continue. Whatever the reason, AngryJoe was now out as editor-in-chief of Blistered Thumbs after a 2-year tenure. The following year, the website was closed, folding the publication back into the main That Guy with the Glasses website, where it continued on before ultimately shutting down completely in the late 2010s.
Got it. So it got folded into the Channel Awesome website, which is that even still a thing? Because I don't really feel like Channel Awesome needs its own website, but maybe it got grandfathered in and built enough of an audience that it's its own thing, that it made a name for itself. But anyway, it looks like it just became a section on that website that people could go to look at, and then no one was looking at it, so they just quietly shut it down. It went out with a whimper.
As time went on, there just became less and less demand for text-based reviews when they had so many creators making videos about the same topics.
Yeah, people would rather watch a video, and if it's going to be a text-based review, then it needs to be either in the description of a video or like small enough to fit in a tweet. And then if people want more information or more detail, then they go watch the video.
And even though he had ultimately...
It's literally how IGN functions now.
...failed with Blistered Thumbs, Joe still remained one of the most popular personalities in that niche. In fact, he was essentially part of the main cast of characters for Channel Awesome, appearing prominently in crossovers and anniversary movies. One of my personal favorite roles for him is in the Christmas special, You're a Rotten Dirty Bastard.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing him on Channel Awesome's website. Like, Channel Awesome, like, the Nostalgia Critic stuff. I do like when they do crossovers, when they're well done. There's a new one on, speaking of creators I don't watch anymore, or that that feel kind of like shell to their former self. Angry Video Game Nerd did it. Like, his newest one, like, he does collabs all the time. It's not that he just did one. Like, he's got some good ones, and then he's got ones where I'm like, oh, this feels forced. This doesn't feel like you're actually friends with this guy or you're doing it for the love of the game. This feels like a marketing kind of decision. Like, this is a thing we have to do in order to grow the channel. And that's what his newest one feels like. It's from a creator I've never heard of on the channel with him. And he just acts as a floating head for the entirety of the episode. And it's really bad. Jesus Christ. God, get in that ball. Holy shit, I'm gonna fucking die.
In which the Nostalgia Critic sees what all of his friends' lives would be like if he was never born.
We're at the residence of the one you call Angry Joe.
Angry Joe, well good. That little pipsqueak wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for me. No, absolutely not. No, I'm through dicking around here, Canada. You get rid of that snob.
Yeah, the skits and stuff like this is what set. Like, I get why maybe this is why Nostalgia Critic and Angry Joe work so well when they collab, is both of their channels are kind of the same thing. Nostalgia Critic's kind of the movie version of Angry Joe, and that's why Angry Joe doesn't work as a movie reviewer, because he doesn't do his movie reviews the same way he does his game reviews. And if you want that style of review with movies, where there's skits and stuff involved, and they do a little plot line for it, where there's overarching characters, and then they intermix the review in with it, that Nostalgia Critic already does that, and it does it better than you do, because you just do skits at the beginning and then maybe in the end, or you might show some clips from a skit here and there, but for the most part, like, your skits don't feel like they're not as integrated into the review as Nostalgia Critics. But the point is, like, there's already an audience for that. Like, that already exists. But this is why their content works so well when they collab, is because they both do skits. So doing skits together just kind of feels like a natural fit for the two of them. So I'll give credit where credit's due there.
I'll be little province of Quebec, or I'm gonna get rid of it for you. You understand? You see, the American people, they didn't elect me to be some kind of pushover. He's the f***ing president of the United States!
During his time as editor...
That's kind of the reaction everybody had. They unironically predicted Trump. This feels like when Trump won for the first time. What? How many people in Hollywood had that reaction? They really elected him? The fucking Apprentice guy?
Editor-in-chief of Blistered Thumbs, Vargas was now revamping The Angry Joe Show. This is when the series started taking the shape fans were generally most familiar with, featuring a format of Joe talking about the game he was reviewing on his space station sets, while graphics appear on the screen behind him, intercut with skits featuring him and his friends.
Yeah.
His most frequent collaborator was Joe.
Oh, I didn't realize that Nostalgia Critic did it first. I didn't realize that Angry Joe didn't do it from the very beginning. I didn't watch his very first videos. I came into his channel later after the skits had already started. So do you think he got that from Nostalgia Critic? Like, he was just like, that's a good idea. I'm going to start doing that with my videos. You think that's what happened? Like, he enjoyed, I'm not even going to say he ripped off Nostalgia Critic. Maybe he enjoyed doing a skit on his channel so much he wanted to start doing his own. Oh, that's cool. You can kind of see Nostalgia Critic's influence on Angry Joe here.
Joe Lopez, better known as Other Joe, who usually...
He's the Joe everyone likes better. He should have his own channel. He should be the Joe. There should be Angry Joe and then regular Joe? Nice Joe? Joe who's not an idiot Joe? Non-locale Joe? I don't know. There's a lot of names you could go with here.
He acted in whatever supporting role Vargas needed for a video. Even though he incorporated costumes and skits into his content, Joe didn't give his series a deep lore in the same way his channel awesome contemporaries like Linkara did. He did have an arch nemesis, the Corporate Commander, clearly modeled after Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe. This villain was a stand-in for...
Yeah, it was a good parody. It was a good character that he doesn't use almost at all anymore.
All greedy video game executives and gave Joe someone to take out his frustrations on.
Yes, I did it! I finally did it! Joe is so f***ing pissed off!
Let that be a lesson to you. The rest of you, we're watching. We're watching.
In many ways, the mid to late 2010s could be considered the golden age of the Angry Joe show. He gave...
Agreed. That was when I watched the most of them. Like, I never missed an episode during that time. And those reviews are so good. You go back and you watch, like, the review for Anthem, the review for Battlefront 2, the review for Dying Light, Elder Scrolls Online. Like, you... What the fuck just happened in my game? Connection timed out. Ah, damn it. Like, you go back and you watch those reviews and compare them to, like, his newest Madden review, or, you know, like the new stuff he's doing now. Like what is even on his channel? Like, what angry review did he do recently? Like, none of them really feel angry anymore. Like, it's just like the vibe isn't there. It's not the same. It's really not the same. How far back did it take me? Okay.
Gamers exactly what they were looking for. Thorough, well-edited reviews for all of the newest releases from someone who shared all...
Key part. All of the newest releases. Now it doesn't feel like the Angry Joe show because he doesn't do all the newest releases, and he just does. It feels like a lot of the games he does are games that he like really likes. Every now and then you get one that makes him so angry he feels like he has to do a review on it, like Dragon Age Veilguard, but that's one that made everybody angry, including my wife, and she's usually the kind to be more tolerant of that woke shit. But yeah, that's a game so ruined by woke garbage that, like, it deserved an angry review. That one was good. That one felt justified. But then there's... okay, you're mad at Madden for the 100th time, and then your other reviews are, this game's good, actually. And they don't feel like angry reviews. It used to be a treat. It used to be something special when you got the angry nerd seal of approval, because it was this thing that was so hard to get. It was rare because so many of the reviews, he's so harsh, he's so angry that a game would have to be really, really good in order to break through his anger to, you know, make him give a good review to a game. Now it kind of feels like the opposite. He gives more good reviews than bad, and he just kind of, even when he is angry, he doesn't feel angry. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All of their frustrations with the state of the industry, with his YouTube vids often getting millions of views each. They also appreciated that his skits were brief and very tongue-in-cheek, not coming across as overbearing or self-serious the same way many online critics did at the time.
Yeah, where they make their entire video a skit and the review is kind of in the background. So I'll give him credit there. Like, he separated the skits from the review part, which is something even Nostalgia Critic doesn't do. Well, he kind of does it. Yeah, I'd say it's more like Nostalgia Critic. Nostalgia Critic does more skit-based stuff and interlaces it more into the review. But when it comes time to sit down and do the review part, he does just sit down and do the review part. So that, yeah, so, okay, kind of the same.
That being said, there were still some cracks forming.
Can you tell I don't watch as much of Nostalgia Critic as I did Joe? Because I'm not... Like, I don't really care that much about... I don't know, like, movies are different than games. I feel like there's more risk of spoilers from a movie review than there is from a game review. It depends on the game. Like, some games I won't watch the review for until after the games come out. And some games, it's like, I don't feel like you can really spoil this game. Like, Power World's one I'm playing right now, I don't feel like you could really spoil. It's more open-ended. Whereas a movie is always going to be the same. You're always going to get the same fucking story no matter who's watching it. You can have a different interpretation, but you can't really interpret a story without spoiling it for people. The movie experience is what the movie is, and it doesn't change no matter who's watching it. You can take different things away from that experience, but the experience, what you see on screen, is the same for every single person watching. Where a game it's different.
The 2000s angry reviewer trope was just that, a trope. People like Angry Video Game Nerd or Nostalgia Critic were playing a character, and were not as easily enraged as they came across in their content. Joe was also playing a character, of course, but as we've already discussed, his
character is based on him as a person, whereas someone like Angry Video Game Nerd, the character is based off of other people. It's based off how the internet reacts to things. It's based off people on message boards. He was basically speaking, he was like an internet persona come to life. That's what Angry Video Game Nerd is. It's, I'm all the people on these message boards who know I talk about this shit constantly. I'm going to roll them all into a person, and what would that person be like? And it was Angry Video Game Nerd. Whereas Angry Joe is just Joe, but exaggerated version of Joe. I mean, yeah, it's still a character, I guess. I'm not going to say it's not a character, but it's a character you take with a grain of salt because there's some truth behind it. I mean, we all do it. I'm not going to say I play a character. I'm probably more honest. It is kind of close to what I am in real life. Like, this is what it's like to have a discussion with me. But there are times where I'm not as angry or as animated in real life as I get on during a YouTube video, because I just, I kind of let it out here, and I'm not as restrained because I don't really care. This is my outlet. But in real life, no, I'm not as big an asshole as I come off in some of my videos, in some of my live streams.
Of outrage came from a much more genuine place than his contemporaries. This was evident in uploads such as YouTube Copyright Disaster from 2013, in which Vargas ranted about YouTube's new Content ID system, resulting in an outburst that became a meme.
The system could care less, and you could care less, because you already pocketed your fucking money. I don't even have money in my wallet. Yes, I do. I have $7 because you took all this and you pocketed it. This is the only fucking shit you people care about. You don't care about promoting your products. You don't care about people reviewing your shit and improving your shit. No, you care about this shit. That's all the shit you fucking care about.
Yeah, it's a business. That's how all businesses work, Joe. I mean, people can relate to the frustration, but that's a frustration everyone has with every business ever. And, what's the video going to accomplish other than letting you vent? Like, it's one of those things we all understand, but, did it need to be a video? Not really. It's one of those things you just kind of let it go, man.
Fairness, this was an issue that pretty much everyone on YouTube was talking about at the time, and Joe's opinion was the same as the vast majority of other content creators. But his reaction...
Yeah, it's everyone just venting frustration in hopes that if enough of us vent our frustration, then it'll change. I mean, that's not the way that's going to work, but that was the hope anyway. That's usually how these things go. All these creators hope that if we band together and we all complain loud enough, then they'll change it. Sometimes that works. Most of the time it doesn't, though. And that's something Joe should understand, because that's also how it works in gaming. If enough of us complain, they might change it. We might get lucky. If we push back hard enough, they may actually listen. But most of the time, our voices aren't loud enough to be heard by them or to make a difference. Like, we won in Star Wars Battlefront 2. The Star Wars nerds came out of the woodwork to back up the gamers, and there was an overlap in those two communities, and the backlash was so loud that, they removed the loot boxes from Star Wars. And even though they claimed they were going to put them back, that they were only gone temporarily, they never did. To their credit, they never did. And I feel like people should have given that game more credit. Like, that game should have got the No Man's Sky treatment. They should have been rewarded. EA should have been rewarded for not putting the loot boxes back in that game like they originally planned to do. And they didn't get rewarded for that. So, which is why next time you guys have outrage over this stuff, they're not going to be incentivized to change it, because, well, that time they did change it, you guys still didn't play the game. So what does it matter if we change it or not? You've already made up your mind that you're never going to play the game again, so who cares? We're going to leave it in because the people who are playing it don't care that it's in there, so we might as well make our money off them. That's going to be their attitude. So when you complain, let that be a lesson to all of you. When you complain about a thing and a company actually listens and actually gives you the thing you want, then you need to give that company the thing it wants, your money. Gamers are like the only group that doesn't understand that. When the Sonic movie came out, moviegoers all agreed that it looked like shit. And then they changed it. And they got rewarded for that change because it was a good change with money. I don't think they got that reward from gamers. I think they got it from moviegoers, because moviegoers that weren't interested in it suddenly became interested in it. You have gamers to thank for that change, but that's my point. When most companies make a change, people reward the change. They give them what they want. They go, oh, good, you listened. Yay, we got what we wanted. Now you can have my money. EA, yay, you listened. Okay, so now can we have what we want and you give us your money? Oh, no, just thank you for listening, I guess. And then they don't give you what you want. Yeah. I don't know. So the next time shit like this happens and you don't get change, you got no one to blame but yourself. Gamers.
Was still noticeably more emotional than most. In many ways, this is what his fans liked about him. Joe was hot-headed, yes, but he was also passionate and unafraid to speak his mind about issues that he cared about, even if it made him look cringe. But sometimes he would kick the hornet's nest and give his thoughts on much more contentious topics, as fans would soon find out.
Joe, where have you been?
What?
Back in the day, Joe had an annual tradition of counting down the previous year's biggest gaming controversies. While these mostly focused around topics like bad releases and corporate greed, in his video about 2013, he discussed the response to online personality Anita Sarkeesian and her series Tropes vs. Women in Video Games. I'm sure the mere mention of her name made the spines of some people in the audience.
Yep, I'm one of them. That bitch. I think we all agree she is the fucking worst.
Shudder. While she's largely lost her relevance today, it can't
thank God
be overstated how huge Sarkeesian's influence was during this era of the internet. While one camp viewed her as a hero for talking about how women were depicted negatively in video games, the other side hated the fact that she seemed to be attacking their identity as gamers. When Joe spoke out about it, he landed firmly in her defense, stating that, while he didn't agree with everything she said, he thought she made some valid points. Bizarrely, his primary focus was Sarkeesian's criticisms of the way female video game characters are often sexualized.
The controversy and issue is the gross reaction to it by many butthurt man-children and actual clueless little boys who think that this woman is out to take away their porn and video games permanently, and that she will somehow actually end up doing that. And this next thing is...
I mean, she almost did.
Gonna blow your f***ing mind. Trust me, many feminists love sex.
Yeah, but what does that matter, Joe?
They love sex in video games just as much as men. Whether it's
Oh, no, that's where you're wrong. They don't love it in video games. They love sex, they just don't love it in video games. No, there's a lot of people who love sex, but they don't love sex in other shit. You know, like a pastor at a church, for instance. He might love sex. That's why he got married. That's why he has a wife. And they do that in the privacy of their own... in the privacy of their bedroom behind closed doors the way God intended. But that doesn't mean that they want sex in media that children might watch, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this was a bad take.
Mass Effect or Witcher 2, and if it's done right, it adds to the story and personal connection to the game and characters. It's hot! But when it's done poorly, it feels out of place and just an excuse to show a boobie to an immature crowd. Given the choice, you'd pick boobs that are worth a damn every single time.
This was the moment that caused some viewers to start...
Maybe. I mean, that's probably true for some feminists, but for most, I don't think that Sarkeesian would ever pick boobs in games ever. I think that she was generally a person who... She's probably a bit homophobic. She never wants to see boobs or sex in games ever. I mean, she'd probably like seeing dudes naked maybe, but not girls. And especially not girls and guys doing the sexy times.
Turning on Vargas.
She's a prude.
Accusing him of becoming a social justice warrior. Interestingly, though, when he talked about Gamergate in his 2014 video, he took a much more middle-of-the-road stance.
You see that the GG movement is relatively small but vocal group on Twitter. Not all of them are bad guys. Anti-GG, you've got to stop bullying them. You've got to stop doxing them. You got to stop harassing them, saying that their movement is all garbage. You don't understand that people find identity within these movements. I understand what it's like to create a community. I run the AJSA. A lot of the people within GG found...
Little humble brag there.
GG at a rough time in their lives. They made new friends. They played video games. They have a common goal. And they're going to defend their right to exist as GG to the death. And GGers, you need...
I can't not hear DGG when he talks about this. I'm like, is he talking about Destiny? Wait, is he talking about Destiny? No, he's not. He's talking about the Gamergate stuff. Gamergate, GG, Gamergate. God damn, does it sound like Destiny's DGG, though, doesn't it?
To realize that some of these people who are social justice warriors, who just want people to be more civil and point out inconsistencies, and the hardcore radical feminists who like to critique video games in their own way, even if you don't agree with them, they're not people, they're not fake gamers, they're real gamers. We're all fucking gamers here. They have a right to their opinion.
If you were around during 2014, you would know that this was a shockingly level-headed take for someone to have.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder why. Did he get some pushback or did he get scared of something? What happened, Joe? What happened?
During the height of Gamergate. This was a time when both sides were tearing at each other's throats, each believing the absolute worst of the other. But Joe had...
Or was it kind of a, I'm going to be the good guy, the voice of reason in the room? Was that the angle you were taking and hoping it would work? Because it didn't, if that's what you were doing.
Having been steeped in gamer culture for his entire life, was able to see the bigger picture. I really can't stress this enough. Nobody was talking about Gamergate in 2014 the same way Joe did. Speaking of Gamergate, there was another controversy mentioned in this video that, even though Joe was not directly involved in, I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention here. You see, earlier that year, the online gaming network Polaris had held a game jam, basically an event where developers were tasked with creating...
Oh yeah, we remember Game Jam from the Pirate Software drama. Whew, man, it doesn't have a good reputation, does it?
creating the best video game they could within a few days. AngryJoe, being a partner of Polaris, was chosen to be one of the judges. The intention was that this would be filmed and presented as a web series, and in order to increase the budget, they were sponsored by the Dorito Pope's beloved Mountain Dew. Now, we already know Joe's opinion on corporate influence in gaming, and his thoughts on Mountain Dew sponsorships specifically, so it's no surprise that he was not a fan of this idea. And as the drink company began exerting more and more control over the production, he and his fellow content creators became fed up.
I butted heads with him several times. I laughed out loud over his insistence that I drink Mountain Dew and have a bottle in front of me at all times. I must have put 3 or 4, 6 bottles under the table by the end of it.
The main source of these problems was a producer by the name of Matty Lashem, who the corporation hired to increase the drama. One of his primary methods of doing this was to try and instigate gender-related arguments between the men and women. Among the developers involved in the game jam was Zoe.
Yep, that's what these companies do. They will capitalize on your outrage. That is their goal. They see you getting outraged and they lean into it and then they capitalize on it. It's you're all marketing sheep. You're all sheep to them and it's all marketing. And that is what's happening here. That is what they will always do. They will always stoke these fires. Just look at Wendy's Twitter account or any of these corporate Twitter accounts. They will either try to stoke your sometimes it's a win-win. They'll pick a side and then they'll get endless support from that side because they want to make a political stand by giving a company their money. And sometimes they'll get people hate buying their stuff. Because they want to prove a point or some shit. It's a double-edged sword, like with the pride flag thing. You get all the gay people to buy your stuff, and then after you've gotten all the gay money and Pride's almost over, you take the thing down, or maybe you get all their money within a week, or sales go up, or you don't keep the Pride flag up for the whole month. You keep it up enough to get their money, and after your sales start to dip, and you're like, okay, well, all the gays have spent their money, then you take the flag down and you make a statement about how, due to backlash, or our community has made it clear that they don't, you make some PR statement about how you're not going to keep that up there anymore. And then everybody who wanted it down is going to give you their money. So now the other side is going to spend the second half of that month giving you their money to show you their support for, thank you for taking that Pride flag down. And then you get all their money. In the end, the only one who won was the company.
Quinn, who just a few months later would be the person responsible for firing the first shot of the aforementioned Gamergate movement. She had been teamed up with, I kid you not, John Jafari, aka JonTron. Neither the YouTuber,
the racist himself. There was an epic, as much as I don't like Destiny, he's had his moments. There's been some Destiny content I've watched over the years, stuff that's gone viral, stuff that was big enough that you had to see it. And the JonTron debate with Destiny was one of those times where Destiny's content overlapped with the content I was watching at the time, all the gamer stuff. And man, did JonTron... Destiny walked a dog with him in that debate, made him look like a white supremacist. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but ooh boy, that was a bad look for JonTron. He got his ass handed to him there. Your first online debate, and you went up against the final boss of online debates? Yeah, that worked out for you, bud. You went into the internet debate mode hard, into the internet debate scene hard mode.
Or game dev were known for their strong political beliefs publicly at this point, yet it was something that Maddie was hell-bent to capitalize on, harping on the two of them when they had the smallest of disagreements. All of this and more piled up, and caused the developers and judges to walk off the sets, resulting in the Mountain Dew Game Jam falling apart after just one day, with John and Joe chilling afterwards with their newly discovered free time.
Be Tom? Or is it gonna be John? John or Tom? They're both 3 letters. Oh, it's John!
Yeah, you won that. You won it.
You have to realize they had a load of beers way before that point. I hate doing this. Is literally late hour. Why did I suggest it?
Again, that was an incident that had very little to do with Joe himself, but it does serve as another example of him being willing to speak his mind despite corporate pressure. That being said, there were times that he found himself being accused of hypocrisy. This point requires us to talk about one more thing that happened to Vargas.
There's a lot of hypocrisy with Joe, especially if you're a big enough fan to watch. Like, I didn't realize it. I didn't engage with Twitter for the longest time. That's been a more recent thing for me. But my God, looking at some of these creators, and Joe's not the only one, but looking at some of these creators' Twitter accounts, where they just tweet out thoughts versus when they put more thought into their video, especially if they're a creator who doesn't do live streams, they just do pre-recorded videos. Seeing them on Twitter is like seeing a different person than what you get in the video. Like, very much so. And Joe is one of those people. Like, he is almost insufferable on Twitter. But his videos aren't that bad because you can kind of take them at your leisure and they're more thought out and he's got time to calm down and, do multiple takes of something. And he's not just crashing out. Like, all of Joe's real crash outs now are saved for Twitter. You want to see Angry Joe crash out? Go on Twitter, man.
In 2014. As it turns out, it was the same year that Justin Carmichael, known online as Jew Wario, took his own life. While Carmichael's legacy has become incredibly tainted today for reasons we truly don't have time to get into here, back then he was one of the most beloved creators on Channel Awesome. Shortly after his death, Joe posted a tearful video memorializing his friend.
I probably will never have the words to describe the type of person that Justin was to everybody around him.
While this upload has since been deleted and thus none of what I'm about to say can be proven, Reddit posts from around this time claim that the video was fully monetized. Speculation in this thread varies wildly, with some people saying that Joe was forced to run ads on all of his videos due to his deal with Polaris, while others made the assertion that all of the revenue would be donated to Carmichael's family. Still, others insisted that the video was not monetized at all. Again, through my research, I can't say for certain if Joe made money from the memorial, but regardless, it did serve to poke a hole in Vargas's credibility for a subsection of his audience. That and the fact that Jew Wario ended up being a rapist, but that's a story for another day.
Jesus Christ! Okay, I'm gonna add him to my list. I never really watched any of his videos. Like I said, the only thing from Channel Awesome I watched was Nostalgia Critic. I never really watched any of these other creators. I guess Joe, technically. I mean, I saw this dude collab with some of them. Like, I knew who he was. But rapist? Is that why he killed himself? God damn. Okay, let me make a note of this to add this guy to the list, because now I want to know what happened and to find out why he offed himself. Was it because was he gonna be in trouble for rape and he would just rather off himself than go to prison? Is that what happened? What the fuck happened, man? Holy shit. I gotta know now.
Regardless of any controversy he may have found himself in, though, the Angry Joe Show was still widely viewed as a reliable source for well-thought-out and professionally edited game reviews for many years. But in 2017, fans noticed a drop-off in the number of videos being uploaded to the channel. On July 14th...
Yep, they became less and less frequent, which is why when he finally did an angry review, you hoped it would be a really good angry review that he was really angry about. So when you don't see an Angry Joe video for so long, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to see who he's going to lay into now, because that's why we watch you, Joe, to see you rip into somebody because you're Angry Joe. To have you, and then to see so many of your angry reviews either be half-assed or you not rip into them the way you should, or you just flat out glaze a game and that's why you wanted to do. Like, really, he doesn't do as many reviews as he used to, and this is what you're reviewing? Like, in your limited amount of reviews you already do per month, we're going to do a glaze fest on insert game here, whichever game he's glazing now? Yeah, it's aggravating. It's aggravating. It's part of the reason I've kind of fallen off the channel. That and all the shitty movie and TV review shit he focuses so hard on now.
Both Joes posted a vlog explaining that they would be taking a 2-month hiatus from angry reviews due to burnout. This did upset some of his fans, but was largely understandable when presented in a vacuum. The real problem is what happened next. Just 4 days later, Vargas uploaded his video about the Season 7 premiere of Game of Thrones, taking the...
Yep, here's where it all started. Yep, this is when it started to go downhill with the angry reviews and TV shows. You're no longer the fucking video game guy. Now you're more the movie guy who occasionally does video games. Oh, and the video game news guy, I guess. That's like the most gaming content on his channel now.
Form of an hour-long unscripted discussion between him and his friends with minimal
which is what most of his... maybe that's why I don't like the movie reviews. Maybe if you put the effort into them that you do into gaming stuff. But no, it feels like you just want to sit down and talk about movies with your friends and decided to make that your content, which I'm fine with. If you want to monetize that, you're an influencer, go for it. But you should have made a separate channel for that. Like, doing it on your main channel now, it's like I've turned off notifications and stuff for your channel. I don't even see most of your new videos when they come out because I'm just sick of the movie and TV shit, and that's most of what you put out now. It's just you sitting in front of a camera talking about movies with your boys here. And there's nothing wrong with that style of content when you're good at it. It's one of the reasons I love Red Letter Media. That's one of my favorite channels. But you guys are no Red Letter Media. You're not good at it. Please stop. What's up, Squall?
Editing. Needless to say, this is not what people wanted to see from the channel, especially since he had just announced his hiatus of the series the majority of people were subscribed for. Both this discussion video and the break announcement were flooded with dislikes and irate comments accusing Joe of being lazy. Previously, when Joe had faced backlash from his fanbase, it was a small subset that he was able to ignore. But this was an overwhelming onslaught of anger, the likes of which he had never seen before. This was when Joe went on the...
And you add to that the amount of attention you get on Twitter, like, he just keeps... This is why I say he has the lolcow gene, man. He just keeps bringing it on himself. Enjoying the new release version. Yeah, like, I don't like early access stuff because it changes so much and it's just so rough around the edges. Like, I play it like a beta. I'll play an early access game or whatever for like a week or two, and then I'm like, okay, I see what the game's about, and I get my feel for it, and then I move on. And that's kind of what I did with Power World. And I have been waiting for the full release of the game 1.0. Here we are, we're at it, and I'm glad I waited because they took a lot of shit out of the game. During the lawsuit with Nintendo, they took out the throwing the ball to catch pals. That didn't happen anymore. The ability to ride pals, they had to take that out. So they had to take all this stuff out. The game got worse for a while, and then they won the lawsuit, and they got to put it all back in. So for somebody like me who played it when it first launched to see what the game was about, I played it for free on Game Pass. For free when it launched on Game Pass, and everybody got to play it. So I got to get a taste for what the game was like, and then I said, cool, I'll wait for full release. And now, for someone like me who played it then, waited for full release and played it now, this just feels like a better version of what I played. I didn't have to play the shittier version that they had to make the game into in order to, you know, avoid getting destroyed in a lawsuit. Also, fuck Nintendo for that lawsuit.
Offensive. He started replying to negative comments and then smugly posting those responses to Twitter to demonstrate how he especially owned the haters. So he got time to do a 1 hour long review of a TV show, but he can't do a 20-minute game review?
Yep, this is the kind of backlash you're going to get. This is why it should have been a separate channel, Joe. This is why the AngryJoe show should have been about video games. That's where your audience is. That's why they're watching you. And the movie and media review stuff, you should have made it, AngryJoe TV. And then that's where you cover TV shows and movie, or, AngryJoe movies or something. Irate Joe instead of AngryJoe. Just come up with a different name. And then you separate them, and then nobody can give you shit. Now, eventually, you will get some shit if you're posting the DAT channel more than your main channel. But a lot of YouTubers do that, where they make a second channel, and then the second channel becomes the one they post on the most, and then they still make their main channel uploads. But usually, the content's similar enough that their audience understands it and is fine with it. But you alienate your entire audience when this takes over the main channel, because people get scared that the stuff they're there for is going to be gone, and you're just going to pretend like it doesn't exist, like what happened with the Philip DeFranco show. So I get where they're coming from. I think everyone was on Power World's side. Not everyone. Holy shit. You should have been watching my streams. I went over it on stream. Nintendo fans will straight up defend anything. And there were people defending Nintendo in those lawsuits. I don't even understand. Like, Nintendo was trying to copyright game mechanics. Throwing a ball to catch a thing. You can't copyright an action. Can you imagine if the Fast and the Furious was able to copyright driving? Like, no movie can ever show you driving a car again. Or racing. No movie can ever show racing again. Only Fast and Furious. No more street racing in movies ever. Only the Fast and Furious can do it. But there were idiots defending it. Just like there are idiots defending Mario Kart being $80. There are idiots defending Nintendo being the only fucking console on the planet with paid voice chat. There are idiots defending, oh my God, the arguments I got into when Nintendo announced that you could buy Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on Switch. And people were like, shut up and take my money, and defending their ability to give Nintendo money, when I'm the guy going, no, these should be on the fucking service with the rest of the Game Boy Advance games. Why are we selling these separately? I subscribed to this service because all those games were supposed to be included. This was supposed to be your subscription fee. No more virtual console shit. No more having to buy, fucking retro games for the 8th time. Now I can just play them when they launch. I knew people personally in real life who subscribed to Nintendo Online to play Nintendo's games on those classic consoles, the games they missed, without having to buy them all. And Pokemon was a big one for those guys. And then they launched Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green separately for $20 a fucking pop and want you to buy them again. Fuck you. But yeah, Nintendo fans defended that shit too. The Nintendo ninjas will defend anything. Literally anything.
This shows the basic mentality of your below average YouTube commenter. They think that a 20-minute game review equals 20 minutes of work. How anyone finishes a single game in 20 minutes is beyond me. Versus a 1-hour review.
No, it doesn't equal 20 minutes of work, but the point is, yeah, it takes a lot of time to make those game reviews. He has to play the game, he has to finish the game, he has to write the script, he has to film the skits. There's a lot of time that goes into that. But how much time is he also wasting doing movie reviews on his channel instead of doing that? Yeah, it's a 20-minute game review. It's a 20-minute video versus an hour-long discussion. But it's not like he just sat down and had that discussion for an hour and that was all the time it took. He still had to watch the movie. He probably talked about it with his friends. He probably planned it out. Like, that still took quite a few hours. And if you spent 8 hours working on your 1-hour movie review thing, or even worse, if it's a season of a TV show like Game of Thrones, you watch the whole season, you spent 20, 30 hours minimum working on this thing, 20 to 30 hours working on a game review for a game with an 8-hour campaign. Well, there you go. That doing this review of season 7 of Game of Thrones was prioritized over doing a angry video game review for a video game. And if it's a video game with an 8-hour campaign like Call of Duty or something, yeah, that's a whole ass game review we missed out on so he could talk about Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's why they were angry. And they weren't wrong.
Review of a TV show in which we sit in place and discuss something unedited. If you ever wanted to know why my YouTube comments are sometimes filled with stupid shit, this is the reason. Eventually,
and this is why you got all the backlash you got, Joe, because we know that's not how that works, and we know you're full of shit because you reviewed an entire season of a TV show. That probably took you, like I said, minimum 20, 30 hours. You could spend 20 to 30 hours playing Call of Duty and working on that review and be done. It probably takes you 20 to 30 hours to do a review, an angry review for a Call of Duty game. That's an angry review that we could have gotten for a video game that we missed out on so you could talk about Game of Thrones. So he kind of contradicts himself there where he acts like, oh, gamers just want me to, they think a 20-minute video takes me 20 minutes to make. While in your defense, you're acting like a 1-hour video discussion for a season of a TV show took you 1 hour to make. No, you had to watch the entire season of the TV show. Fucking 8 episodes? At an hour and a half a piece? It's like 12 hours right there. Just fuck off, man. You're using the same logic that they are as a way to defeat their logic? This is why Joe needs to quit tweeting, because his little crash outs are so easy to pick apart.
Got so bad that he turned off ratings and comments on the Game of Thrones video. But this decision only got him accused of further hypocrisy, since he had previously tweeted in 2014 that he would never under any circumstances disable comments on his YouTube videos.
Womp womp. Well, like I said, Philip, all these creators do it, man. Once pressure's on, that's when it happens. Philip DeFranco did the same thing. Said he'd never delete his old videos, and he stands by blah, blah, blah. He stands by who he was back then, and he liked that his channel would show how he's changed as a person. And then Philip DeFranco deletes all his old videos because he doesn't want the woke mob to come after him. Womp womp. Gay sex? You won't find any of that on my channel, friend. But, cool, I guess. You go enjoy your gay sex. Homo.
Rather than just deleting this tweet or ignoring it altogether, Joe posted a reply clarifying that he would disable them only if there was no great discussion and people are determined to make my comment section a shitfest in all videos.
I'm just gonna pick up that goalpost I had sitting here for a decade and move it over here. There we go. There we go.
In a strange turn of events, despite previously talking about incredibly contentious topics like Arnita Sarkeesian and Gamergate, this ended up becoming the biggest controversy of Joe's career. It was something that needed to be addressed before things got really out of hand, and so a few days later he uploaded a video explaining that the angry reviews were not stopping or even slowing down. He had a much...
But they did slow down though. Significantly.
Calmer tone here than he did on Twitter, and it seemed to do the
Yep. Like I said, you want to see his crash outs, go to Twitter, because seeing him here when he makes videos and stuff, he seems like a reasonable person. But when he's on Twitter, he just fires from the hip, man. Now you get to see what Joe's really like as a person. Go on his Twitter, man. There's crash outs. He has the lolcow gene. He has to respond to every individual commenter. Like he'll go on full threads. He'll get one guide on Twitter.
Trick in turning the temperature down. Joe did indeed return to making angry reviews after his break was over, but the fact that his channel was still filled with unscripted TV and movie discussions and trailer reactions rubbed his fans the wrong way.
Yeah, it's still filled with them. I remember there was one, like I showed this on my channel once before, because I've complained about AngryJoe more than once because he's a creator I liked that's just become like, I want to be Red Letter Media. And now that's what it is. Like we pulled up his channel once on stream and we went over it, and there was like almost an entire month where all he did was post reviews. So it was TV show, movie, trailer reaction, TV show, movie, trailer reaction, game review, TV show, movie, trailer. Like there was like one fucking game review that month, and the rest of the month was this shit. I guess there was technically 5 gaming videos for that month if you want to count the weekly video game news segments he does, but I don't count those as Joe videos. Those are Alex videos. Alex runs those news shows, and Joe does very little work on them at all. It's literally he turns on a camera and lets Alex read the news to him. Alex puts those together, so those don't really count.
More importantly, the way he had lashed out on social media gave him a different vibe. While his audience previously viewed Joe as their buddy who felt as strongly about video games as they did, from this moment onward the relationship became much more antagonistic. As time went on, Joe and his fans started fighting more and more. Some of these were minor scuffles.
Which, to be fair, like, as his fans, you should understand that that's probably who Joe really is. Remember, the reason you fell in love with this channel in the first place is because he's AngryJoe. He crashes out about video games and makes them into funny videos and reviews and makes them part of his content. Did you really think that these crash outs were fake? No, there's some sincerity to those crash outs. He probably had real crash outs about every one of those game reviews. And it was fine when you only saw those crash outs on Twitch, because they are funny to watch him crash out in a video, but to read his crash outs in text form on Twitter, it's just low cow behavior and it's pathetic.
Such as his brief encounter with the Kingdom Hearts fanbase. This is a series known for deep and often confusing lore.
They're pretty sycophantic too. They're almost as bad as the Nintendo Ninjas. Almost. I'm gonna go get this buried treasure finally. Let's put a thing right there.
Giving it a bit of a stigma in the wider gaming community. This in turn has made...
I sold the armor I crafted because I didn't equip it. God damn it. I forgot to equip the armor after. It doesn't auto-equip. Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to craft a new set, and I don't have a new set, materials for... fuck you, Pal World. God damn it.
Its diehard fans incredibly protective against any reviewer who doesn't have a thorough understanding of the franchise. When Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out, Joe caught flack from these avid players for exactly this reason, and made several posts about it on Twitter. The Kingdom Hearts community is one of the most elitist I've ever seen.
Alright, let's calm down. They ain't that bad. But they did overreact to Kingdom Hearts 3. That game also wasn't that good.
I literally have...
Hot take, the series as a whole isn't that good. It is confusing and kind of head up its own ass with its story. And that's because they milked the fuck out of it and just had to keep putting filler shit on top of filler shit because they wanted to make lore. And then it became so complicated, even the creators of it couldn't keep up with it.
People telling me not to review the game, or they'll brigade me and harass me if I don't play all of the previous games first. No, you have 1,000 other diehard fan reviewers for...
After Birth by Sleep, the series went downhill for me. Yeah, because so many of the games just felt completely fucking unnecessary. And then there was like shit they did for lore in Kingdom Hearts that like you can't even play anymore. There were mobile games that got discontinued. There was that one mobile game that was only available in Japan. There was a video or movie or short film they did that you can't watch anymore. There was a concert that they did that apparently had lore stuff in it that I think maybe they finally put on one of the collections. And then there was collection after collection because they kept adding shit in between the games. Like it felt like they were just dropping shit to keep people interested until they make the next game. And then as they added more and more shit, that's more and more shit they had to incorporate into the next game, which made the next game take longer and longer to come out. Like, I feel like the fans should be more mad at the amount of content they got in that series that fucking shit content they got just so that they could milk the franchise. Like, the fans should have been calling them on it, so then they would have got Kingdom Hearts 3 sooner, and hell, we'd be on Kingdom Hearts 4 by now with a cohesive story that makes sense, instead of all this, like, side bullshit in there that you gotta... It is a pain in the ass for any franchise where you have to... Where in order to get the full story for the franchise, you have to watch the main thing, then you have to watch the side thing, then you got to read the book, then you got to read the back of this box of cereal for the product placement they did, and then you got to watch this concert that they did. But if you didn't catch it live, it might be down, and you may not be able to watch it. And then you got to go on Wikipedia and read about this game that got shut down, and then we can go to the next thing. It's annoying. It's annoying. I wanted Kingdom Hearts 3 for a decade, and it was such a disappointment when I played it. You just encapsulated my entire experience with Kingdom Hearts 3. I was so excited for that game. Like, I felt like I had completely grown up in between Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, my life had changed significantly. Ooh, I don't want to fight you. We're going to go up in there. We'll fight you later. You level 48? I ain't doing that right now. I'm way too far away from a spawn point to fight you guys right now. I need to unlock fast travel, and then I'll come back and get them. But I feel like my life had changed so significantly between Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, that was all the way back on fucking PS2. PS2! I waited for Kingdom Hearts 3 since Kingdom Hearts 2, and instead of getting Kingdom Hearts 3, I got a card game on GBA. There was a mobile game I had to play, a concert I had to watch, a side game I had to... I got tired of all the filler bullshit. I just want Kingdom Hearts 3. And then I fell off the franchise, and that was on fucking PS2. We finally get it in PS4. By that time, I had met a woman, gotten married, had kids, and my kids had gotten old enough to play games with me. Like I had started an entirely new life in the time it took for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out. And I waited that long for it, and then we finally get it. And it was just kind of mediocre. It was the kind of sequel that would have been great if it came out on PS3. Like, if that was a sequel that came out on PS3 and there was nothing in between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, I think everybody would have been fine with it. Would have been like, oh, cool, yeah. And it would have scratched that itch for most people. But you had spent so long hyping it up with other shit that the expectation was too high. You had to knock it out of the fucking park in order to get it, and they didn't do that. They did not do that. How do I... Oh, okay, I don't have to be on the ground to dig. I can just do it from the bird. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. What did I get? Ooh, a better compound bow. Okay, well, I'll craft that instead. Ooh, piece of candy. Sweet.
For that, Jesus. Nah, I think at this point I'm going to refuse to play the other games just to spite all the crazies who are overreacting to newcomers daring to review a game on its own.
Oh, AngryJoe, the game reviewer, has an excuse to not play and review a game now so he can spend more time on movies? What a shocker. That's what that feels like to me. Oh no, Joe's not going to play a game. You mean like all the other games he's already not playing? Okay. Please, Joe, please don't deprive us of another angry review. Like, at this point, your audience is used to it. They don't care anymore.
What does my opinion even matter to these people? It's worth noting that Joe did not end up reviewing the Disney game outside of an unscripted impressions video after playing a brief snippet of the game at a convention. Other battles were not quite so isolated though. The game Battlefield 5 was a deeply controversial title from the moment that it was first announced for a variety of reasons. For many years, Joe had been a vocal critic of the game's publisher EA, and many of his fans expected him to jump on the bandwagon of hate. Whatever criticisms he may have had of EA though, Vargas was still a huge fan of the Battlefield series, and produced a lot of videos covering the build-up to the game's release. It must be stated that one of the reasons gamers were upset was because the character who was put front and center in the marketing and box art was a woman with a mechanical hand.
Yeah, I didn't care about that part. I just want the game to be good, and the worst part is that most of these Battlefield games weren't good until Battlefield 6. Like, it took that many failures for them to finally get their shit together and release a good one, and now they're struggling to keep players in it because they don't know how to maintain it. Like, the content they're putting out isn't good, and it's kind of lackluster and cash grabby. I will admit, the Battle Royale mode for Battlefield, I think, is way better than Call of Duty's Warzone, and I can't believe more people aren't playing it. As much as this just goes to prove that Call of Duty knows what it's doing. All those people complaining about Warzone and how much it sucks now and how they hate all the collabs and blah, blah, blah. You don't speak for the entirety of the gaming audience, because they are buying those fucking skins in droves. And Battlefield is struggling to maintain a player base because we live in an era where if you want a Battle Royale to be popular, then you need to be able to do a bunch of collabs and keep people interested. And without those collabs, without those Fortnite-style collabs, people just aren't going to watch. People aren't going to play. People are going to lose interest, and they're going to go back to the one that's got... Because all it takes is one collab to get people's attention. So they'll play Battlefield long enough for... the fucking Ninja Turtles to get added to Call of Duty. And they'll be like, oh shit, Ninja Turtles are Call of Duty. Well, I gotta go back and play that now. I gotta play as the Turtles. Oh my god, I've been dying to see 3D Turtles. I've been dying to see the Turtles in a good video game for so long. Yeah, and that pulls people back in. So, just saying. Battlefield wants to stay boots on the ground, and all the skins it gives are shit. Because they're just, oh look, here's camo, but blue. Here's camo, but red. Here's camo, but slightly darker green. Because they want it to be realistic, and that's how camos work in real life. People aren't paying for that, though.
Which naysayers argued was inaccurate to the realistic World War II setting. This was a massive...
No one should be playing Battlefield for realism. No one should be playing Call of Duty for realism. You want realism in a shooting game... go play Arma. Go play a game go play a military simulation game. These are arcade shooters. They're not meant to be taken seriously.
Controversy during the game's initial reveal, and EA did themselves no favors by how they chose to respond. Their chief creative officer, Patrick Sutherland...
Accept it or don't. Yeah, I mean, it's bad PR on their part. There's probably a better way you could have said that, but I mean, you're not wrong. They're not going to change the game for you, and that's basically what they're saying here is, look, either you're on board with it or you're not. All they had to do was focus on the fact that, hey, our games aren't focused on realism. It's a game where you can crouch behind a box and become fully healed. Then no part of that is realistic. All right? Our games aren't meant to be real. They're arcade fun shooters that are themed around a period of history. So either you're on board with that or you're not. And then that's all you got to say. It's just like... Just remind people what your game is. They didn't do that.
Sutherland spoke about the backlash in an interview saying, "The common perception is that there were no women in World War II. There were a ton of women who both...
There were no women with robotic arms.
...fought in World War II and partook in the war.
Okay, which one had, where was the female Winter Soldier in World War II? Where was the one with the metal arm? Please point it, see, this is why it's a bad response. Because now everyone's just going to be like, okay, well, where was the woman with the metal arm? Where was Bucky's mom? All right, like, where was she? Show me where she was at.
We don't take any flack. We stand up for the cause because I think those people who...
What's the cause? Oh man, you tried to make it sound like you were holier than thou. Holy shit, I forgot how bad this response was. Holy damn.
Don't understand it, well, you have two choices. Either accept it or don't buy the game. Battlefield 5 ended up selling below expectations. The writing was on the wall even before launch day, since pre-orders were also disappointing to the corporate executives, and many irate gamers applauded this as another example of a company getting woke and going broke. In August of 2018, Joe made a video covering the low pre-orders for Battlefield 5, especially when compared to the numbers for the next installment of the Call of Duty franchise. Basically, he wanted his FPS slop to sell better than the other FPS slop. More specifically...
Yeah, Joe does that. He is very biased in his reviews, and that's another thing that people probably got tired of is he's been less and less honest with his reviews, and it's very clear that when he wants something to succeed, he will shill for it. He will blatantly shill for it. He will tell people to go buy it. He will not be fair in his review of it. It's just I really think that this thing should be a thing. Please help me support the thing that I like. I mean, I guess to his credit, he's at least honest in his shilling to a point. but you're supposed to be a review channel. You're not supposed to be shilling for shit. You're not like one of the mini Star Wars channels. All right? You're not some fucking pop culture podcast. You're the review guy. Shut up and do the review, dude.
He covered all the reasons that the sales might be low that had nothing to do with social media identity political discourse.
I care about the Battlefield 5 franchise, and it sucks to watch this video because they're celebrating. They are celebrating the destruction and the lower sales of the Battlefield 5 franchise.
You just hate that you're basically he lost an argument on Twitter trying to defend the game, and it sucks that he was wrong. It sucks that they were right, that all the people who gave you shit on Twitter and told you how wrong you were, it sucks that they were right. That's what this translates into for me, and I guarantee you could line up his tweets at the time and see that that's what happened.
Due to those goddamn liberals and those goddamn social warriors putting women in Battlefield. The reason why, to them, that Battlefield 5 is having lower pre-orders is because there are women on the box, there are women featured prominently in the trailers, and there are women in multiplayer.
Do you know how many people buy these games without ever getting on Twitter? Twitter outrage isn't real. It doesn't usually reflect sales. It's anytime Twitter outrage claims it affects sales, it's usually just coincidence. It's usually just coincidence. People didn't buy a thing because it was bad. They didn't buy it because Twitter told them not to. It's never Twitter that influenced the majority of sales. Veilguard, as much as fun as it is to shit on it for being woke garbage, Veilguard didn't fail because Twitter told people not to buy it. Veilguard failed because it was a bad game. There are plenty of people who never read Twitter and would never even notice the woke garbage or would not care as much about it as Twitter would have you believe. They will put up with woke shit in the game as much as Twitter would have you believe. Otherwise, people will put up with woke shit in the game if the game is good. People will put up with woke shit in a movie if the movie is good. So when a movie or a game fails or succeeds, and Twitter claims it's go woke, go broke, or they try to give you some kind of political stance on it, if they're claiming victory over it, it's just 99% of the time, it is just a coincidence. Now, we'll say people do get fatigued, that it does have an impact over time, but Battlefield 5 wasn't one of those times. Sometimes that can happen, but most of the time, it's just because the media was bad.
Given what we know about Joe's personal beliefs, it's unsurprising that he didn't agree with the complaints about the female character. In fact, he thought it was an incredibly silly thing for people to get mad about. This was an outrage to people who had followed Joe in their war against greed.
Yeah, Joe, but it wasn't just that she's a female character. It's that she's an unrealistic one in a game that's supposed to like pride itself on being. If they're gonna make a statement about how they want to represent a time period, and then they're giving you a chick with a cybernetic arm in the fucking 40s, okay, clearly they don't give a fuck about the time period. I don't think it was the fact that she was female. It's that it was so over the top. Like, it was, the response was just bad. And Joe shields so hard, he can't just admit when a response is bad.
3D video game corporations for years. They thought EA was the epitome of what he stood against, and it was unthinkable to them that AngryJoe would sing the praises of one of their titles like this. Some even accused him of becoming a paid shill. One of the people who got mad at Joe was The Quartering, a conservative YouTuber who had been covering the Battlefield 5 outrage for a while.
He's one we can talk about too. God damn, dude! I hate fishing minigames. Jesus fuck, man.
He accused Vargas of misrepresenting the controversy and of deleting negative comments. Joe then uploaded a response to The Quartering's video denying the allegation of comment deletion and showcasing all the vitriol that had still been there. In his eyes, this proved the idea that a lot of Battlefield 5 detractors had bigoted motivations.
AngryJoe, f*** up, you fucked up, you fat cuck, Bale made a cuck, God, you really are a cuck, fucking sellout, what a fag, angry cuck show, not my Joe, well, he's a dirty fucking Mexican.
Dude, fuck these minigames so much! It loses too much when it's moving, like, how am I supposed to keep up with this? I hate these minigames so much, this is so annoying to deal with. Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Well, at least I got a trophy out of it. Yes, we get it, Joe. This is him having a lolcow moment and he's crashing out. Also, it's over the quartering. The guy's a fucking joke. I've done more than one segment on him. His crash outs are like, you're both lolcows. This is watching two lolcows go at it. Like, you're stooping to his lolcow level. Just ignore him and he goes away. His audience isn't even as big as yours. What are you doing?
You sell out, pissed off Pedro.
It should be noted that when Battlefield 5 finally launched, Vargas was much more critical of it. But at this point, the situation had grown beyond that.
There's Delroy. God, I miss that guy. I like him better than Alex.
As it launched a long-standing beef between AngryJoe and the quartering. The two got into several heated arguments on Twitter over the years.
Wonder what he thinks of the quartering's drama and where he's at now, where he's stealing content and he's just kind of... His whole career's kind of fallen off. I wonder if Joe's going to make a video declaiming victory over that. Ooh, that's a new one.
Including one in September of 2020 about football players showing support for Black Lives Matter. A similar incident to the Battlefield 5 saga happened with the release of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
I am one of the few people with an unpopular opinion about that movie. I liked that movie the best of the new trilogy. I have a love-hate kind of relationship with it. I love it for what it could have been, and I hate it for the fact that, you know, they didn't do anything with it, so now it's just a wasted contradiction in the trilogy that just... It became the movie that ruined the trilogy because they would rather scrap everything in it. J.J. Abrams would have rather scrapped everything in that movie to spend his entire next movie trying to undo what that did instead of actually, like, expanding upon what it did and making it work in a narrative way. There was a lot of good ideas in that movie. You don't have to agree with my opinion of Last Jedi, but in my opinion, there was a lot of good ideas in that movie that could have worked if they were fleshed out over another movie or two. But it was never given the room it deserved to breathe, so now it just seems like a movie that didn't know what it was doing. Like, it looks bad in comparison, and that was by design. J.J. Abrams went out of his way to make this movie look worse than I think it actually was.
You don't need me to tell you about the controversy surrounding this movie, since the effects of it are still being felt to this very day. Nobody was able to have a neutral opinion. It was either the single greatest or single worst thing to ever happen to Star Wars. Joe was largely...
I don't think it was a single best. I also don't think it was a single worst. Like, it's not one extreme or the other. I know that's what everybody seems to think. You either really loved it or really hated it. And I'm kind of in the middle on it. I really loved what it was trying to do, and I really hated that it didn't do it better. Really, if that makes sense.
Positive on it, which in and of itself courted some controversy. But even though he liked the movie, he still posted a video with his friends titled, Top 10 Reasons Why The Last Jedi Made Me Angry.
Yeah, because that's what Joe does. You can see it most in his movie reviews. Like, he's done it with Supergirl here recently. His first review was glazing it and trying to get everybody to go watch it. And then backlash from an audience hits, and he makes another video contradicting his first one. He's like, well, on rewatch, you know, now that I've had time to watch it several times, I actually agree with you guys. He's so easy to bully. He's a fucking lolcow. He's so easy to bully. Like, you can just get him to agree with you if you troll him hard enough. Like, he caves to backlash instead of standing on business.
The image of the thumbnail spread briefly as...
And he does it in a way that makes it seem like it was his idea, too. Like, it's so obvious what he's doing instead of just being like, no, fuck you guys, instead of standing on business. But even if you're not going to stand on business, you can go, you know what? You could give credit to the people that, you know, you're supposed to be making that video for, and give credit to them and say, you guys made a lot of good points, and on rewatch, turns out you were right, and I'm glad that I listened to you. You could give them credit, but instead it's always you know, now that I think about it, you guys were wrong. Actually, this was what I thought the whole time. I just didn't express it well, so let me explain it again. It's obvious what you're doing, and it's pathetic.
As a meme on Twitter, leading to Joe inadvertently becoming one of the faces of the anti-Last Jedi crowd online. Many people who didn't watch his video just assumed he flat out hated the film. That group was sorely disappointed a few days later when Vargas posted another vlog titled Top 10 Things I Got Wrong About The Last Jedi, going over the way he had accidentally misrepresented the film in his previous upload. This infuriated onlookers who believed Joe was backpedaling his opinion. Others once again accused him of selling out when they discovered his network, Maker Studios, was owned by Disney. To be honest though, none of those incidents are all that bad. Sure, they may have harmed Joe's credibility in the eyes of some people, but there's really no evidence to suggest he was actually being paid for his opinions. Even if he was saying things some people didn't agree with, there was nothing here that had the potential to destroy his career. No, if someone wanted to attempt that, they would need some stronger ammunition. This brings us to June 20th, 2020, when a Twitter user named Ashley came forward with a story from April of 2018. According to her, she had met Joe during a party at the PAX East gaming convention, and the two had followed each other on Twitter. After she got back to her Airbnb, she messaged him and offered...
Oh, is he about to have a boogie moment? Where he paid a girl to be with him or something, and then she exposes him? Like, what happened here? Or is Joe... See, I didn't keep up with this part of the drama. Like, I didn't keep up with this shit, so maybe... I'm gonna try to guess what happens here. These rape allegations? Is Joe a creep? Sexual assault? What happened here?
To go to his panel the next day, to which he replied, "Def, see you at the panel," which I haven't prepared for at all and will most likely be a complete disaster. LOL. But maybe you can cheer me up after it sucks balls? Ashley claims to have missed the flirty tones of this message, though I don't know how. The next day after the panel, Joe...
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. She's lying. She's just lying there. She's just completely fucking stupid and oblivious. But you missing the flirty tones doesn't mean the message wasn't flirty. Like, when it's that obvious, you can't blame... Like, guys could never get away with this. Like, you could never miss signals that a girl sends you and then blame the girl for you missing the signals. And when the girl was like, yeah, I liked you, and I kept trying to express that, and you just didn't get it. And then the guy's always like, damn, how did I know? The guy can be like, well, it's your fault. Like, you can't blame the girl. And if you do, you're an asshole. Like, this would never work the other way around.
Allegedly whisked her away from her friend before she had time to react and invited her to...
Hey, Ashley, want to grab dinner with me and some people from the YouTube panel? That doesn't sound too flirty, because he does include a group with it. So he just makes it sound like, you know, you're going to be part of the group. So I could see how she maybe would miss that one. I mean, yeah, in my opinion, it shows that he's interested. He is asking you out to dinner. He is doing it in kind of a pussy way where he's including a group. He's trying to do the, I'm going to ask you out, but I'm going to do it in a way where if you reject me, I can be like, well, no, I wasn't asking you out. I was just inviting you with a group of friends. So then you don't have to accept the rejection. It's a bitch move. But I see what he was doing.
To a dinner he had scheduled with his YouTube representatives. On the cab ride there, he briefly lost his phone and asked to use Ashley's to call it, eventually discovering it was in his pocket all along.
That's a bitch move. Just ask for her number, dude. What are you doing? You get what he did there, right? He wanted to use her phone to call his, so when he grabs his phone, her number will be a missed call, and now he's got her number. Just ask for her number, dude. What is this shit? How fucking old are you, man? What the fuck? This is like 8th grade fucking high school bullshit.
In hindsight, Ashley suspected this was a ploy to get her phone number.
Oh, it most definitely was.
Before heading to the restaurant, the two made a brief stop at Joe's hotel so he could take a shower. He allegedly asked her if she wanted to join him, but she refused, waiting in his room until he was finished. They then sat next to each other.
Wait, he asked her to go back to the hotel room while he took a shower? Well, now he's getting pretty blatant with it. So if she's claiming she missed the signals there, and you needed hindsight to understand that the guy who needed to go back to his hotel room to take a shower and invited me in was hitting on me, I don't know what to tell you, bitch. You are the female version of an incel, because that is the most obvious ploy ever. Like, I can understand how maybe you missed the phone one. That seems innocent enough. I mean, to me, that one was obvious. But guy going, okay, well, I need to run back to my hotel room real quick, take a shower before we go to dinner. Hey, you want to go with me? Yeah, that's a very obvious. Like, there's no way you missed that one. Come on. Come on, bitch.
each other awkwardly at the foot of his bed for a few minutes until their table was ready, during which time he reportedly took a selfie with her for some reason. Once at the dinner, Ashley claims Joe...
So he could post it to social media and brag about the hot girl he's with. Oh, this is pathetic, dude. This is Boogie 2988 shit. I mean, it's not as bad as Boogie 2988 hiring a sex worker to pretend to be his girlfriend, but this is you just pretending to be with a girl and not actually being with her. At least the sex worker will pretend to be your girlfriend back if anyone asks. I don't know which is more pathetic, honestly. This one's pretty bad.
Introduced her to everyone as his girl and didn't let her...
Yep, this is pretty bad.
...her use her phone at all to contact her friend or her boyfriend. Afterwards, she was whisked away to yet another party.
And to be fair, we're only getting her side of the story. Maybe Joe will tell a different one. We ain't got his side yet. But if the stuff she's saying is true, this is pretty fucking pathetic. You're just trying to force a relationship by, your inability to read the room. You're gonna be into this girl, and you're gonna bring her with you and introduce her as your girl. So you put all this pressure on her, and she feels obligated to say yes so she doesn't embarrass you because you're that YouTuber she knows. So there is a little bit of using your fame, your internet fame here to your advantage to try to force a girl to give you a chance. It's pathetic, but I mean, yeah, I see what you're doing.
At a bar where her phone was taken away for several hours. By the time she had finally got it back, Joe had gotten drunk and began angrily asking her who she was trying to contact. Suspecting it was...
You're not even dating. It's none of your fucking business, man. Shut the fuck up. Oh, my inventory's full. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, let's unfill it.
Her boyfriend, he allegedly lashed out at Ashley, accusing her of using him for clout. After the fact, Ashley had tweeted about the situation without naming names and had contacted Joe's management company, who claimed that it would be taken care of. When the woman saw nothing coming of it, which in hindsight, what the hell did she expect would be done, she finally decided to take matters into her own hands and publicly warn people about Joe. As far as evidence is concerned, Ashley didn't have much beyond screenshots of text from Joe and from anonymous people from the event.
I mean, that's something people don't take seriously anymore. I feel like they only halfway took it seriously at the time when a girl comes out, because I just want to warn others about him, like she's some kind of hero. And in reality, like, if you're going to do something about it, call the cops, take him to court, like, do something about it. This I'm doing it for other women thing, like you're a hero. Shut the fuck up. No, you're not. Also, that never works, even if you were telling the truth. Oh my God, dude. God, I hate these fucking things. Like, it's impossible to keep up with them. Dude, okay. Yeah, like, that never works. Like, even if we believed you and you're doing it to warn other women, has that ever worked? Like, if a girl was really interested in a guy, would she look at that fucking video that girl made and be like, well, I was really interested in him until I saw that video on YouTube about him. Ooh, man, I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad that random girl online that I don't know warned me about him. Does that ever actually fucking work? Where did he go? It just disappeared. What is happening right now? What is the timer on the screen? I don't understand what is happening. And then it disappeared again. What is this thing? It's just a fuddler. Oh, I had to kill it. Okay. Wow, I did not know that's what was happening right there. Okay.
Who agreed that she had been treated inappropriately, whatever that means. When Ashley posted these allegations...
I mean, that could mean anything. Being treated inappropriately could mean that she was touched inappropriately. It could be something serious. Or it could be you were just rude to her, and that's inappropriate. Like, it could mean anything. That's an open to interpretation statement.
With Joe's name attached, they quickly started making waves. You have to remember that the 2020 lockdowns were the absolute height of Me Too stories about YouTubers on Twitter.
Yeah, because these bitches got nothing better to do than sit at home and... Like it was all for attention, for most of them. I'm not going to say all of it, but... I mean, just the name of it being Me Too should let you... I mean, that sounds like something that's not real. That sounds like some made up shit. Like, you're just trying to be included in a thing that's not about you. Me too. I want to be included. Like, if we're gonna make fun of girls and girls and call them pick me girls, oh, pick me, and then they're doing stuff that's like cringe that they don't believe because they want a guy to pick them. Me too sounds like the sexual assault version of a pick me girl. Like, that's what it sounds like.
Bringing even more attention to this tale than it otherwise may have gotten, Joe chimed in a couple of days later, unequivocally denying the claims and stating that his lawyer would be getting involved. The day after that, he posted a twit longer giving his side. As he tells it, he had never suggested having sex, nor had he ever prevented her from contacting her friend.
You invited her back to her hotel room where you were specifically going there so you could take a shower. What, do you think that you didn't invite her over for sex because you didn't just say, hey, would you like to come back to my house and to my hotel room and have sex? No one says that. Obviously, that's what you were getting at. Obviously, that was the implication. I'm sorry, dude. Fuck you. Like, if you really did say, I need to go back to the hotel room to take a shower, hey, you want to come with me? That's the implication. The implication is if you come back to my hotel room, you can see me naked. You get like, come on, dude.
Ashley had simply been an invited guest who hung out with him for a day, nothing more or less. Well, we don't know exactly.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. That is a shitty excuse. If you just said that she was a girl you met there and you were being nice and you wanted to hang out as a group and you never invited her back to your hotel room to take a shower, then I might have believed you. But this whole, she was just a guest to hang out with me for a day, that sounds like you're in your ego. And, oh, I'm so famous that just hanging out with me as a friend would be a fucking privilege. Fuck you. No, you were hitting on this girl, you got rejected, and now you're acting like an incel about it.
Exactly how the situation transpired after Joe made the statements, Ashley deleted her blog post with her accusations and hasn't been active.
Huh, wonder why. Was it backlash? Was it his fan base attacking you, or were the accusations not real? Well, now I'm questioning things because you took it down.
Online for several years. While the woman's story was bizarre as it frames some awkward flirting as a Me Too story, at the same time, Joe claiming that he didn't have a romantic interest in her is also laughable. Come on, man, you met a random...
Yeah, it's very obvious. I mean, I don't think it was a Me Too situation. Maybe that's why she deleted it, because she tried to frame it like she wanted to be included with... The whole idea behind Me Too is these girls are exposing people who sexually assault people. Like, they're exposing the worst of the worst. And you're like, this guy hit on me once and it was cringe. That's not a Me Too situation. Maybe that's why she deleted it. But that's also why the Me Too thing, it's kind of cringe, because it feels like girls are literally doing it just to be involved in something that doesn't involve them. And she's an example of that.
Random girl at a convention invited her to a restaurant with your YouTube reps to look like a big shot and brought her back to your hotel room as you invited her to take a shower. Let's not deny what
come on, dude.
what was going on here. Like, you didn't do anything illegal, so why present it like you just wanted to be friends? That essentially brings us to modern day, as Joe has mostly stayed out of the public since then. He was tangentially
Mostly? Have you fucking seen his Twitter?
Involved in the Change the Channel controversy when practically every Channel Awesome creator made a mass exodus from the site. Unlike his peers though, Joe made very little noise about it, only posting a single tweet saying he had left the site for unspecified reasons. These days, the vast majority of the content on the Angry Joe Show channel are unscripted discussion videos, with proper angry reviews popping up.
Yep, which is why I don't watch it as much. Like, I can get over all this other stuff, the drama and stuff, if his content was still the content I wanted to watch. The reason I'm mad at Angry Joe and I don't watch his channel as much, and my criticisms for him don't even come from the controversies. It comes from the fact that you just don't make the content that you used to make. It's that your content's not as good now. I'm a fan, Joe. And I'm a fan because of the content you used to make. Make the content your fans want to watch, and most of this shit would be swept under the rug and would go away and it wouldn't follow you as much. I mean, you're always going to have anti-fans. You're a YouTuber. That's going to happen. But as long as you're making content your fans want to watch, the rest of this shit doesn't really matter.
Up once in a blue moon. Even then, many of the videos in this series have become off-the-cuff conversations. This has undoubtedly alienated a lot of his former fanbase, but he makes enough money to sustain his lifestyle for the foreseeable future.
Yep, that's why he's going to keep doing it. It is making him money. I mean, yeah, that's what's happening. Flamethrower fuel. You can get a flamethrower in this? Of course you can get a flamethrower in this. What am I thinking? So, yeah, I mean, people are watching him. If you're a fan of the Angry Joe show and you're frustrated with his reviews, that's another problem. Is a lot of his fans will be frustrated with the reviews, the movie reviews, and they'll miss the game and stuff, but they'll still watch all those movie reviews, waiting for the game and stuff to come. Like, no, if you don't like them, don't watch them, don't support them. Say, no, Joe, I don't like this, so I'm not going to watch it. And if he looks at the numbers, it's the same thing that you all seem to understand when he talks about games, is that if you don't like it, don't support it, and you hit them where it hurts, in their wallet. When they look at their sales numbers and see that this is affecting their sales, they won't do it anymore. If Joe looks at his viewer count numbers and see that this is affecting his viewership, then he won't make this content anymore. Stop watching those reviews. And look, I get it. I'm guilty of it. I watched a bunch of his fucking movie and TV reviews hoping that it would be, or eventually get to be, on par with his game stuff, because at first I gave him a little bit of a pass going, well, you're new to movie reviews. Maybe this is just you having a discussion, and then this will become a new style of content for you where it'll evolve into the Angry Joe version of a movie review where we'll get skits and stuff and then we'll get the movie review. But it never evolved into that. It's just lazy, and it shows. It feels lazy.
Outside of YouTube, he also still spends a lot of time arguing on Twitter, but he mainly...
There we go. You did pay attention to the Twitter. Yeah, he's a lolcow who crashes out on Twitter. The only reason he hasn't gone full lolcow is because he is smart enough to avoid doing it in his videos.
Sticks to politics and his hatred of the Trump administration rather than video game discourse.
Which is why I don't follow him on Twitter. Most of his tweets are politics or politically based until he wants to crash out about DC shit and get mad at Snyder Bros. Yeah, his Twitter's kind of pathetic. It's going to affect my opinion of him if I keep reading his tweets. So I'm just avoid his Twitter. If you like his content, avoid his Twitter.
In conclusion, I put Joe in an archetype I like to call the YouTube boomer. Now approaching middle age.
Ooh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, he's become the angry man yelling at clouds now, and he argues about adult things. Yeah. Why is it old people, like the older you get, the more obsessed with politics you become? Am I the only one unaffected by that? I feel like I'm old, but I don't really care about politics. Like, I mean, I'll have those conversations when we need to... Ooh, a laser rifle. I mean, I'll have those conversations when we need to talk, when it's appropriate to do so, but most times I don't really care about politics. I'd rather just avoid that conversation. I don't feel it benefits anybody.
He appears to have given up on trying to reinvent his content, instead sticking to providing easy-to-make videos to an aging millennial audience that watches as comfort food. Regardless of how you feel...
Oh, fuck you, Gamer from Mars. Fuck you. He just described me and why I watch Angry Joe's content, or why I had been until I had enough. Yeah, I hung on as long as I did because I am an aging millennial who watches it like comfort food. And I still do that with the classic YouTubers I grew up watching, that were my high school and college experience that I watched. I'll still put on Angry Video Game Nerd videos, like his older seasons, the ones I used to watch. Like, I'll just click the whole season-long video on Angry Video Game Nerd, because he'll do, like, Season 5, and it's all the videos for that season, whatever season of Angry Video Game Nerd is. It's all the videos there, and he'll just make them into one long video and play them back to back. I'll just put that on in the background while I clean the house or something, and it's just... feels good, man. Takes me back to a better time. Sometimes I'll do that with Angry Joe's reviews. I'll go back and rewatch a review of an old game. And, yeah, you can't really do that with his new stuff. You can still kind of do it with Angry Video Game Nerd stuff. But yeah, fuck you, Gamer from Mars. You just described me. The fun thing to do with his old videos like that, though, is to compare them to the new ones. Like, I think the last time I did it was with Saints Row. Because I'm in the minority. I get that. I'm one of the few people who liked the remake of Saints Row. I didn't love it. I liked it. I liked the gameplay. All of the bones of a Saints Row game were there. It scratched the Saints Row itch. If you play the remake of Saints Row or the reboot of Saints Row, if you play the new one and you just skip your way through the main story, you skip all the cutscenes and stuff and you just do the gameplay, and the only like story stuff you watch and stuff you engage with is the side missions and the DLC, it feels like a Saints Row game. And that's kind of the point. I even think I see what they were going for. When I go back and rewatch the story a second time, I don't think it was trying to be woke garbage. I think the game was trying to make fun of woke shit. There's a lot of lines of dialogue and stuff in there that sound like they're making fun of it. It's just very poorly written and poorly done. It's a bad joke, but I think I see what the joke was meant to be. The point is, you go back and you watch Joe's old videos where he does an angry review of Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3, Saints Row 4, whatever, whichever Saints Row it is. When you hear him talk about the stuff from those old games he likes, ask yourself, is that stuff in the new game? Or is there a better version of that stuff in the new game? And the truth is, all that stuff is in the new game, all the stuff he says he likes. And there's some of it, better versions of it. The controls are better. I think the gameplay's better. The vehicles handle better. A lot of it is better. But people couldn't get over that's one of those times when the woke thing actually did make a company go broke. Because you replace characters people liked and a franchise people liked with this woke shit. And even if you were trying to make fun of the woke shit, it's that you did such a piss poor job of it that people just couldn't get over it. It's a very bad first impression for the game, and I feel like most of the people who played the game didn't finish the main story, so they didn't get to experience the good parts of the game. They didn't get to see that, oh, it really is just a Saints Row game with a bad story. They didn't get past that. They didn't get to play all those side missions. They didn't get to play those DLCs, because if the game sucks, they're not going to give you more money for DLCs to make the game better. So it sucks that the company went under because of it too, because I actually do think that they could have revived the franchise by doing a remake of, Saints Row 3 or the original Saints Row or something. Just instead of doing a reboot, do a remake, or do the remake in the same style as like Final Fantasy VII remake, where it's more of a reboot / remake, where you reimagine the first game, give it a little bit of a different story, put a twist on it, and then you can make sequels to that drift further and further from the original until it eventually becomes its own new franchise. Kind of like Star Trek did with the J.J. Abrams movies, where it's a separate timeline. It starts out the same, but oh, look at how different it becomes. And at least then people get the characters they do like, and they get to see new stories and new versions of them from a fresh perspective. Like, I think that would work. All of that could have worked, but now we'll never get to see that because the company went under.
About his current content, it can't be understated how iconic he was during the early days of online video reviews. And the fact that he never really got into any major controversies in his 20-year career should be commended.
I mean, he got into some, but he does a really good... Oh, that was the end of the video. Okay. He got into some controversies, but he did a really good job of, keeping them low-key, keeping them away from his content. So I'll give credit where credit's due there. He did a good job of keeping them away. He managed to let them fly under the radar, where I think most of his audience never even knew they existed, because most of his audience doesn't read his Twitter. Most of his audience doesn't engage with YouTube drama, so it probably did fly under the radar. I'll give him credit for handling them better than most locales like Boogie2988. He kept his crash outs on Twitter where they can be somewhat isolated and away from his content. He's still got the locale gene, though. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's stream, though. I told y'all that was going to take probably the majority of the stream to do. It's 3 a.m. That's my usual stopping time. So, bit of a shorter stream tonight. I'm trying to get started earlier so I can do longer streams. But that's going to do it for tonight's stream. I'm really glad Gamer from Mars made that video. I have a love-hate relationship with AngryJoe right now. I'm very frustrated with him, but I do still watch his content, and I do still want it to get better. And this Gamer from Mars video was good. It highlights how good he was and how we got to where we are, and how it probably isn't going to change, sadly, because he is making enough money with what he's doing to sustain his lifestyle for the foreseeable future. So he doesn't have any incentive to change his content unless he's just trying to make more money. If he's content with where he's at and the salary he's making and he doesn't want to make any more money, he just wants to sustain himself and just keep going, he can just keep doing this, and this is what's working for him. So unless something happens that makes him lose money and he have to go back to, finally give his fan base what they've been asking for and what they want, which is more game reviews, unless something happens to make him do that, you're probably not going to see it. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll hire more people. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe if he starts making more money doing this, he can hire more people to help him make those game reviews so that he don't have to do it all himself. Like, all he has to do is play the game and then, come up with an idea for a skit and let other people write the skits, let other people put together the sets and do the editing and, buy the costumes and put that all together. So all he has to do is show up, act it out, and do the review part, and everything else is already done for him. Maybe that'll make it go faster. I don't know. I just really wish the Angry Joe show did more video game reviews. I really wish the TV and movie stuff was on a separate channel and that he just did more reviews. I don't know how you'd spare that much time to do both of those things. It's not like he has a girlfriend or a wife and kids. Does he have a girlfriend now? I don't know, but it's not like he has a wife and kids. Maybe that's part of it, is he's depressed. I mean, man's in his 40s now, and he's not unmarried with no children. When you're that age and you're not married with kids and everyone you grew up with is, the rest of the world is, that's the expectation. Yeah, you do kind of feel it, man. Men do have a biological clock just like women, and you feel it ticking when that happens. Once you get over 40 and you're quote-unquote over the hill, I can see how that would hit a man. Didn't happen to me. I had my first kid at 30. And I got married in my 20s, and we are still married, and, everything still worked out for me. I did what I was supposed to do. I went down the path that every guy wants to go down, where he got married, and he had his kids, and he started a family, and then, that was just, boom, that's his life now. So I'm not going to say I got lucky. A lot of work and effort went into that. Maybe one day I'll tell that story. But every time I tell that to people and they're like, yeah, you got lucky. I'm like, no. I did not get lucky. I chose my partner wisely. And I put the work, the time, and the effort in to build the life I have now. The life I have now works, and my marriage lasts as long as it has. And I get to, I built this life for myself on a solid foundation that took work. It's not luck. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. I want to thank you, wonderful witches, for watching this one. If you like the video, if you like the live stream, hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, the best segments from my live streams, most live streams I do more than one segment, but the best segments from my live streams get made into YouTube videos. I try to post them the next day, but I haven't been able to do that. So yeah, those videos lag a little behind the live streams. You want to stay up to date, you watch the live streams. If you just want to be a VOD watcher, that's fine too. Like the channel, subscribe, help me hit 1,000 subscribers so I can get monetized and I can have a little more incentive to put more effort into this. Because right now, it's a hobby that I don't prioritize. I'll prioritize it more if it makes money, though. Help me get there. Anyway, thanks for watching this one. I'll see you wonderful witches on the next one.